Okay. I'll give it a minute or two. See if anybody comes in. Pull up some news and stuff. Um, sorry. I just got home from work. And I'm still dealing with whatever this thing is. And I got some stuff on my mind, so I'm not quite focused yet. I'll put this on for the moment. Hey, Patrick, how are you, sweetheart? You know, they always say the early bird catches the worm, so you, I guess you're always on time for stuff, huh? That you were always the first one at your job. Can you hear me? Is the sound okay? Is the sound working? Oh. Oh, okay. How come you didn't go in the chat? How come you didn't come in the chat last night?
It's on the interstate more than likely. You can put it out on channel 2, it'll go count.
We had a couple of new people. We had a new young lady named Tiffany, and someone else I don't remember. And it was a good chat. You were feeling a little down. You didn't want to socialize with us. You should always want to socialize with me.
Kelly.
Because I love you like a brother.
She said she's walking to Henry this time. She's wearing black leggings, blue tie-dye shirt.
Yeah, Glenn was here. And John did the same thing. He came in and listened for a little bit last night. He wasn't feeling good. So.
She thinks not there, but it's apartment. The lights on right there.
I thought it was decent. We had some good interaction. LD had a beautiful message. And Daryl shared some interesting information. And Old School shared some interesting information.
She doesn't know that's when he left in. She just said that's when he drives that she last saw him around his apartment.
Oh, you got it.
Inside or outside?
You're sick. I'm still sick too.
27th cardiac arrest, 913, Red Coat Court, 913, Red Coat Court, Lakeside Terrace, phase 2 address, open line. Call on line states that his wife is deceased, dispatch 327 child.
Oh man, just had a heart attack.
427 Charles Bell. 320 just assist.
You always have things to add to the chat. Don't ever say that. Always.
Wife is on hospice. We are trying to get the case location. Again, this is going to be a phase 2 location, open line. Call taker can hear no distress in the background.
And don't ever worry about not agreeing with someone.
Still trying to get further, 2325.
If that's what it was. Because there's gonna come times, almost every night, that there's something someone says that we don't agree with. You know, we don't personally feel the same way about something or think the same way about something. And that's okay. That's how we sort it out. And we, you know, there's going to come things that we will never agree on. There'll be things that, you know, and that's okay too. God made us all different for a reason. If not, he just would have made a clone. He wouldn't have made DNA the way he made it, to make everybody different and special. You know, so we're different. We think different. We feel different. We analyze things different. We have different opinions on things, and that's fine. And that's what balances the world out. Just like men and women are different. They're supposed to be different. They're supposed to... I know that. I know you don't.
Do we have anybody at Indian River? Independence in Indian River? The unit down there. I have not confirmed myself. 4-6 to Officer Bennington. Go to Independence and Indian River. Lock that off until we can get the night release. Yes, ma'am.
Boy, the cops are busy here tonight. Good gracious.
It appears his car is gone.
They're making police stay on later. Hello, Nicholas. How are you?
Which one you try dispatching on? 10-4, 2228.
Well, I hope that man with the... hope the man in that cardiac arrest is okay.
Right there, from the Bureau to vehicle for the traffic stop from the oceanfront, 20th Street, Stoke Avenue. Vehicle's going to be a lifted gray Dodge Ram pickup. North Carolina tags. Echo, Juliet Whiskey, the first 3. Last in.
Surviving the storms in southwest Missouri. Really? Wow. Yeah, y'all have had a bad week of storms. Y'all under a tornado watch? Whoops. I'm okay. I just got home from work. I missed all of that part of the conversation, Patrick. But yeah, I can understand that. It was strong headed this way, but it's breaking up. Oh, well, good. So I seen some beautiful meteors tonight. You know, again, even though we're not supposed to see them. You got some interesting sky pictures, Nicholas. Yeah, you be having the same skies as I have here. There's that same formation, as I call it. Can't be a cloud. Got to be a formation. And there's the V. And you got some nice videos here. Oh yeah, it's got to be. Definitely, because I've never in my life seen as many meteors as I have this last year and a half. Whoops. Definitely, because. Okay, Patrick. Hello. Shabbat Shalom. How you doing, daughter? Tamara? I like your numbers. My favorite number, 7 and 17. Yeah, it's you. It fits you. So I just got home from work. And saw some beautiful meteors while I was walking from one building to the other at work. I was in the same spot where I first saw the red ones that I'd never seen before last year. So I saw 2 yellow ones and a red one tonight. And they weren't shooting stars, they were actually in our atmosphere. They were beautiful. Yeah, so I had to stay out there and talk to God for a minute, you know. And then I watched that one star that likes to turn red. And there's a couple of stars that have got a lot of movement in them right now. I don't know if it's tugging on them or if debris is hitting them, you know, like meteors is hitting them because they're in the debris field now or whatever. I don't know. They just had extra movement tonight. Yeah, I know. I actually think they've been shooting at it for about a year and a half now. I honestly do. I already know they said they could shoot rockets from outer space. And I'm telling you, it looked like I seen them launch some from some clouds. So I don't know what they had up there. But I've seen some stuff here. And I think that, honestly, this light storm, this light show that I saw a couple times, I got some video of it somewhere. Um, this light show I saw, and that's exactly what I thought when I saw it. It was like explosions, and it was like, I said, either the military is out there in the ocean practicing, blowing up stuff, or they're actually, you know, hitting a target because it was consistent. Welcome back, Patrick. It was consistent, and they kept hitting the same three spots over and over and over and over, and over and over and over and over. It was beautiful, but so that's actually the impression I got then, because it was a strange light show. And that's just kind of what my gut told me. It's like, man, they're hitting something out there in space, but I don't know. I don't have any proof to that. I just know what it looked like to me. So maybe when it gets in certain positions, they can only hit it when it's in certain positions, so the debris falls away instead of towards the Earth or something. Who knows? Oh yeah, definitely. Well, at first I thought it might be test, but it was so targeted that after a couple of hours of watching the same thing over and over again, and the location being the exact same, it seems like they were actually, targeting something and not just random testing. Oh yeah, with his own moon? A meteor with a moon, huh? Interesting. I thought only planets had moons. So, talking about the one that's supposed to come in 2025 or something? Or something new. Did you see the one that went over somewhere yesterday? Big green one? I think it was yesterday or day before. Let me see if I can find it. Hmm. Meteor. Oh boy, oh boy. Alright, give me a second. Wow. Give me a second. I gotta pull some of this up for y'all. Oh, let me find this medicine. Um, Yeah, I've got. I seen Mr. B's yesterday. I didn't see any meteors. I've got it. I've got the original, the original news sources. I'm getting ready to pull them up, but there was more than one. That's what I didn't know about. There was one in Australia and one in Brazil yesterday, or day before. I seen video of the big green one yesterday, and I forgot. I was gonna bring that up in the chat too, and I forgot last night. But anyway, I'll be right back. I gotta blow my nose. I want to do that on the live channel. Uh, okay. Sorry about that. I can breathe a little better. Alright, I'm gonna pull this up. Oh boy, oh boy. We'll watch this one first. This was the one in Australia. And then we'll watch one. It was Costa Rica, maybe. The other one hit. Alright. Any day now you can load. Gracious. Okay, so that was that. Well, I didn't have any sound with it. Look at all the news. Politics, politics, politics.
Call the government. Colon cancer screening for people 50 and older at average risk.
I want to see the one that went over Costa Rica. Well, that's not it. That's not what I want to see. Don't they have a search? Oh, they do have a search.
The plan to store nuclear waste at a facility in Nevada called Yucca Mountain has been a divisive issue for decades. Billions have been spent to develop that site, but the Obama administration stopped it from being completed. So is that the end of the debate? Correspondent William Lajeunesse reports on whatever happened to Yucca Mountain.
We're approximately 12 miles from the actual Yucca site.
Yucca Mountain, once dead, could be revived under President Trump.
We're talking about something that can bring great economic boom, not just to Nevada, Nye County, but it's about solving some of our nation's problems.
9 Nevada counties support reopening the process to store America's nuclear waste in Yucca Mountain. The state's congressional delegation disagrees.
For over 30 years, many in Congress have been trying to force a repository facility on Nevada, despite the fact that Nevada does not generate or consume nuclear energy.
U.S. taxpayers sunk $19 billion into developing Yucca Mountain, but just as licensing began in 2012, President Obama stopped it.
This has basically gone from re-election to re-election. And at the same time, the problem has exacerbated. You have waste now in over 80 sites in 35 states.
America's nuclear reactors generated 90,000 tons of radioactive waste, according to the GAO. Most is stored on site, costing taxpayers $2 million a day.
We can't start over and let another 40 years pass to solve this challenge.
Environmentally, economically, politically, many say Yucca Mountain offers the best, worst option to get rid of it.
If we're serious about addressing climate change, we must be serious about preserving and expanding nuclear energy use.
Nevada promises to fight.
We will use the full force of every legal option available, every political
Isn't that
tool
like an
available to make sure
oxymoron?
the federal government knows it cannot run roughshod over our state and endanger our families and our environment.
For 3 years, President Trump wanted $120 million to
That's
restart
crazy.
the licensing process. So far, lawmakers refused and narrow.
That's crazy. We want to help the climate and the earth, so let's make more nuclear plants. Cost $2 million a day in taxpayer money for them to store nuclear waste. But we need to make more nuclear waste. And then if we have a power outage, a major power grid outage, and we can't keep those nuclear waste plants cool, what happens then? And we have a big meltdown. Then we're all dead from nuclear radiation. As if it's not leaking into everything now already. Hi, Putt Putt. How are you? A little bit, Patrick. everybody in the area has been having issues today and yesterday with their phones and everything else. I think is part of the yeah, I haven't looked that one up yet. Tamara was telling us about it. So now asteroids have moons. You know, I know planets have moons, but now asteroids have moons. Very interesting. So is it Wormwood and they're calling it an asteroid? Yeah, it's Patrick. See, they'll never admit to us how much damage they've done with nuclear power, nuclear bombs, and they will never admit the damage and danger involved. But you know, I don't think any of it much matters anymore. Remember 2001 when over 50 million people in the U.S. and Canada lost power? Yes. Yep. It was supposed to be from a solar flare or something. Yeah, I remember. I had a friend in New York that was paralyzed from the waist down. You know, so he's in a wheelchair, and he lived on the 13th or 23rd floor of an apartment building. And we were all friends. We had a bunch of friends on AOL, so I had to get somebody on a cell phone to go there to his apartment and carry him down the stairs because when the power went out, the elevators weren't working and he was stuck in that hot building. And no power, no nothing. So I sent someone over there to get him down the stairs. I remember it. Canada lost power too, didn't they? I don't know. Oh yeah, absolutely, Tamara. Absolutely. That's what I'll be filming every day. Yep, I think so too, Tamara. Okay, let me look that up. Asteroid coming that has its own moon. Hmm. A mile wide asteroid with its own moon will pass Earth this. Oh, is this the one that's supposed to pass on the 10th? Oh, this weekend? Huh. Right. Right, Patrick. This asteroid with the number 66391, also known as 1999 KW4, is what is known as a near-Earth asteroid because its orbit around the Sun takes it close to the Earth's orbit. According to recent reports, the asteroid is going to pass by Earth at 7:05 p.m. Eastern Standard time when the paired objects will be about 3 million miles from Earth and moving at a speed of about 50,000 miles per hour. What's astonishing is the asteroid is large enough that it has its own moon that will zoom harmlessly past Earth this weekend. Meanwhile, there will be 2 visitors to Earth from space. It's called a binary system because there are 2 asteroids that are gravitationally bound together. The larger one is just under a mile in diameter, and its companion, asteroid Moon, is about a third of that size. According to ESA, it will be 3,219,961 miles away from more than 13 times the distance between the Earth and the Moon. Even so, astronomers will be watching the flyby. Gracious. Whew. Yeah, I got the flu or something. Uh-oh. Thanks, Tamara. Oh, boy. Well, you know, maybe all this stuff that's coming in is what's got people feeling ill. John's under the weather, and so I'm a little worried about John. Casey's under the weather. Casey's dad's under the weather. I'm under the weather. I'm sure other people are. Hot peppers, yeah. Actually, I should have made a cup of coffee is what I should have done. Which video? Oh, yeah, I actually forgot. I meant to get some garlic. I forgot to get my vitamins today, too. That ain't helping me none. Yeah, yeah. Well, he thought he was getting better, and then, like, the fever and stuff went away, but he's still not up to par. But anyway, we have all this energy coming in, and, you know, it's got to affect our bodies. Yeah, I know. Yeah, a lot of demonic stuff. Yep. Well, there's a lot of distractions too. There's so much mess out there. It's ridiculous. And I feel sorry for like new people trying to figure things out. First coming on YouTube, and then all these channels giving all this false information. They might give you like a little piece of truth in there, and then they fill you with a bunch of mess, you know. And man, I feel sorry for people just coming on, you know, like realizing some you know, something's different and looking for answers, and they're going to run across so much bull malarkey. Oh, I know, Tamara. That's going to be rough. Yeah, that's right. And spread the truth and the love and not all the gossip and you know, these people kill me with the back and forth with the politicians and what they're doing and you know that's a puppet show. And if I wanted to know what it was, I'd you know, I'd watch the news. Oh, but you know, whatever. They get their hits on YouTube. They get plenty of hits. So I guess that's what people still want: drama and chaos and all that. Yeah. Well, you know, Scripture tells us there's going to be great deception. So you can only imagine. Uh, Satan's got it coming from every angle that he can. He's got to be, you know, he's trying to get his way in any door he can get in. So, Tamara, you calling in tonight? That's true, Patrick. We can't judge all by some. Just like when what's his name was asking God not to destroy the whole town, and he's like, if you find 100 good people there, will you save them? God said, yeah. He said, well, if you find 50 good people there, will you save them? And God said, yeah. And he said, if you find 10 good people there, would you save them? So, it's not too late for people to change their ways and repent. So, we can't think everybody's a lost cause because they're doing bad things. Because I always look at Saul, aka Paul. So we can pray that some of them become touched by the Holy Spirit, and so they can be convicted, or you know, they can feel when they're doing wrong, and they can change their ways. Yeah, Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Thanks, Patrick. So we can, I hold out hope for people. Oh, I'm not gonna sneeze again. Sorry, trying to hold back a sneeze. And I know this thing ain't going away till the sneezing goes away. Anyway, it's just a cold or whatever. I'll be alright. I knows I've gone to work with a lot worse. I broke my arm one time on the way to work. On the way to work, broke my arm. I went to work. Worked through my shift. And it was bad. It was real bad. And everybody there, all the customers, they're like, Judy, you know your arm's broke, right? I said, yeah, I know it's broke. And anyway, I worked the whole night. And went to the emergency room the next day. But I couldn't, I didn't feel like I could just call in at the last minute and say, hey, I broke my arm, I can't make it in. Then they wouldn't have time to find anybody to work my shift. So I went to work with a broken arm. It hurt bad, too. Finally, somebody went to the store and bought me a bandage thing so I could hold it up, tie it around my shoulder and prop it so it wasn't just hanging there, making the bone worse. Hello, Glenn. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I checked the chat real quick. I was on the phone talking to somebody, and it went quite well. But I thought I'd call just to see if you were going to stay on for a little bit, and I'll jump back in the room. I just thought I'd call you and say good evening, and I've had a fairly good day, and say hey to everybody.
Well, that's good. I worked. I talked to
Yeah, I
John.
had a busy day, but it went well. I was not doing too good yesterday. I just kind of grouped today, and everything went miraculously great. I was
Good.
shocked with the heat. Yeah, the heat's rough on me, but it had a lot to do today. I had to go all around, do all kinds of stuff. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I had a lot of things accomplished, and hope to be back out sky watching again. I saw you looked at my video, but it was nothing big, but I thought it was pretty anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw
So,
some
so I won't
meteors
tie it
tonight.
up. I can
Oh
get
no,
back in the
you're
chat.
you're
I didn't
you're
even say.
good. You're good. Um.
I noticed nobody was talking, and it was like three people in there. I just checked real quick when I hung up the other call, and
Yeah. Well, we were typing and talk. They were typing and I was talking to them, but we were talking about the meteors. I saw some tonight
yeah,
while I was at work, and then there's a big one that went over Australia the other day, and I was getting ready to try to pull up the video on the one that went over Costa Rica yesterday. I haven't pulled up the video yet to share it though. And then daughter and Putt Putt was telling me about the asteroid coming in with a moon. It's so big it's got its own moon.
yeah. I
That
told you about.
that
I mentioned that 2 nights ago. They said we're going to see. We should see that
this
tomorrow.
weekend,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
the walnut shaped one with its own moon. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So now we're calling asteroid. Now we're saying asteroids have moons. I thought planets had moons. You
No,
know?
they're pushing it now because they're
Yeah.
saying this thing is not very big. How does it got an? Even if I
They said
believed
it's a
in
mile.
gravity, how is it holding its own moon?
They said it's a mile big. A mile's pretty big.
Yeah, but other things are a mile big. That's getting to the point where they're going to say a really large person can have things rotating around them when they walk around town. I mean, come on. But I don't know. I'm not going to like debunk the whole theory of gravity, but I don't know what's going on, man. I mean, how big does something have to be to have enough inertia or whatever magnetic or whatever it is that to hold something else in place to rotate around it? That's
It's
kind of
got to be
bizarre.
electrical and magnetical, not gravity. You know what I mean?
No, it's not just the sheer. Like we were taught in grade school that it was the sheer size of something that and the force of gravity could pull
Right.
at something and keeping it right where it's at. And I still don't know if I believe exactly the moon is everything as they've taught me
Well,
about the
how
tides and
can something
whatnot.
traveling 50,000 miles per hour, right? That's a mile big, pull this other little thing with it. Now I understand wind draft, right? Like if you drive behind a semi, it saves you some gas, because it takes some of the stress off your car, and
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, like a
the wind
NASCAR race.
tunnel
Yeah.
kind of pulls you. But something going 50,000 miles an hour, and this thing, yeah, no, and this thing's rotating around it. No,
Did you see the images that they put up NASA put up on that one?
no, I was
They
just.
say they're actually.
God bless
I
me.
went and looked.
I was
I don't
trying to hold
trust
that
them so
sneeze
much.
back for the last hour.
Well, I looked at it yesterday and again today. It comes up on my page, my news page, which I pretty much skim past it, but it looks just like a walnut.
Does
It's
it?
just like one you Christmas time. That's what it looks like.
It might be wormwood.
Yeah, and it's got a little smaller. Well, there's actually been a few good things. I haven't been getting on looking at nothing. Man, it just pours in all day, and I just discard all of it now. I just think I'm just past all that. But occasionally I'll click on something, and there was a pretty good FAA camera picture today of two suns side by side, and they're like, which one is ours, and what is this one? And it was pretty interesting. I didn't open it up. I just looked at the title page. Don't know if it was legit footage or what, but it had one yellowish white one with a dark spot in the middle, and then underneath that there was a whole another one. So it was that was just the title of the page. It wasn't a Planet X site really, but it was kind of referring to that. That there's something going on. Well, we all know there's something going.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know. It's interesting. I'm not going to stop doing it. I'm just not even feeling well. I'm feeling better, and I got a doctor appointment tomorrow, and hopefully by Sunday or Monday I'll be back out my scope, and
What are your
I'll start putting.
symptoms?
Excuse me.
What are your symptoms?
Oh, it's pretty close to yours in a way. It's just kind of hot and then cold, and then well, today it was hotter than heck being out there. Just not much energy, and well, actually for being a smoker, my breathing's all right. I've been sneezing a lot, and I never sneeze,
Yeah, me
never.
too. Me too.
So
Yeah, I never sneeze. The only time I used to sneeze was once a day when I first looked at the scale.
okay, I had to get the chat back off because I was hearing myself.
Oh.
Yeah, I ain't quite figured all that out. Shit, I almost forgot how to upload. I feel terrible now that I know you guys that I got rid of like thousands of my pictures from the last 2 years of amazing pictures of the sun and moon and sunsets and strange things. I finally had to get rid of almost all of it, and now I wish I had it back.
Yeah, well, I have like 10,000 pictures myself that I haven't even had time to share yet. Going back for the last 2.5, 3 years. And so I feel you on that. I mean, I've got some on stuff that I haven't even been able to boot up, you know, for the last year. But I still have access to like 7,000 of them. But
Well, I had an interesting idea today going back and looking at some of the ones I have, and they're dated from last year, like June and July. That's
uh,
coming up. So I'm going to be able to go out there on the
And
exact day
compare,
that I
right?
did last year, and I'm going to be able to see where the sun at the exact time of day last year compared to the exactly time
Right,
this
and
year.
what's
I'm going to
around
notice if
it,
there's any difference.
and what's around it, and yada yada. Well, see, they say that there'll be a difference because, like, the Earth doesn't do a perfect circle rotation and or orbit, and so like nothing has a perfect even orbit, right? So the
Yeah,
orbit,
yeah, but I'm talking about the people that theorize like and buy into cataclysmic type stuff like on my birthday when the sun goes its furthest away because I'm born on the 21st of December, first day
right?
of winter, and it does go its furthest distance. But these people that believe in the plasma cataclysm say if it heads that way and starts to head south or something, that we know that all heck's about to break loose. I mean, I don't say I buy that, but I'm gonna be looking.
Well,
Believe
if
me.
if it is, if that's what's going to happen, that's God coming back.
Well, it's not. It doesn't scare me at all.
You
People are
know,
weirded out
that's
when
the
they go, "Come
energy.
on, you'd be
That's
terrified."
if
I
that's
actually
going to
wouldn't be.
happen. That's the energy of God coming back. And these people selling that mess, lying to people about how they can survive if they spend this money with them and get this information that only they have. They're so full of it. And I don't, I
Oh,
don't outright just call people liars, right? But sometimes I have to. Sometimes I
no,
have to.
I agree. No, the
They need
guy's
to be
got a
saving their
bunch of good
soul.
information.
They need to invest in a Bible and talk to God instead of giving these people money for some false information.
Well, see, the problem I have with that guy, the main one anyway, is he says the Bible's 100% true. That's what he says first off, but he never says anything spiritually, and it's true.
Right.
It's nothing but a history book of how this thing occurs every so many thousands of years, and that's all it is. It's a true story of what they saw. They wrote it down, and we take it as a spiritual book, and it's just simply a fact book of facts.
Right.
That's where I disagree.
Right. Right.
Because what is his big issue? Even if he were to survive, if he's 50, then if he makes it through? What has he got? Another 20 years in this so-called new beginning reset, and then he's going to die, and then what? If he has nothing after that, then that's pointless. I don't care about 10 more years, 20 more years here. That'll be
He's
over in a
selling.
blink of
He's
an
selling.
eye.
He's selling He's selling Satan is what he's selling.
Well, he's selling, hanging on to this world for a
That's what
little
I'm
bit
saying. He's
longer.
selling Satan. He's not.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing. He's giving people this false idea that, man.
Well, I'll put it to people like this that they can present any way of spiritualism they want. I don't degrade it, but anyone that understands that a few more good years here is not worth the chance of eternity somewhere else and be absolutely separated from anything that they consider God. Why would anyone take that chance? It's just bizarre to me that anyone could say, "Well, this is it," and when you go back to Earth and that's it, and it's dark. That's just insanity. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. I don't care what you choose what God you choose to pick. Pick something.
Right.
Because
Well,
otherwise, you live for this world, and it's ego and greed, and what can I get? And it's like you said, well, what the heck does it? What does he want money for? Even if he does make it through some cataclysm, and he's one of the few that to repopulate, what's that getting him? It doesn't make no sense. It's insanity. But
yeah.
anyway, I don't want to tie the phone up if someone wants to call
Oh
or.
no, you're fine, and they can always chat. I'll know if they call in. You know what I mean? It's not like they'll get a busy signal.
Yeah, I feel a little bit bad. I haven't been out now for over a week to even look at the sky, except one night that checked out that moon a week ago. And I can't take good pictures with this phone. They come out small.
Yeah, I can never get. Look, sometimes the moon is huge, or the sun's like ridiculously like taking up half the sky, and I'm like, I know y'all can't tell it by the picture.
Well, I need to learn. My dad died and left me a very expensive, but it's not a digital. It was the old school Nikon in Minolta. He spent like $800 on it back in the '70s, and he took amazing pictures with it. If I could mount that to my 12-inch reflector, I know I could take awesome pictures. I just got to figure out how to do it, and then I'd post all of them.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I just need to get serious about it. But it's a little depressing. I got that, and I waited and waited, and I didn't get a clear night. It took me about 3 months to get a
I
clear night,
know.
and we don't get many.
I know. I know.
Used to be no problem. The only issue I had as a kid was if I could stand the cold for more than an hour out there freezing to death trying to look.
Yeah.
It was always clear in the wintertime.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't do Christmas. I mean, I don't know if you do, but I don't. I did it with my children, but I don't do it anymore. I don't put no tree up, and I don't do all that nonsense. To me, I just don't. But that's my choice.
Well, I don't
But
because I'm alone now, but I always did when my daughter was
yeah, I didn't want to.
coming to
Well, I
visit,
wasn't even thinking about nothing. But looking into it, I don't really believe it's got nothing to do with what I was told. But either way, I just don't see a
Well,
need
it
for it.
is
But
it is the day that we celebrate Christ's birth, since we don't know his actual day.
yeah,
Now,
so I understand
but
that.
the Christmas tree and stuff you don't have to do to celebrate his birthday. You know, um, I don't see anything wrong with the Christmas tree. I've heard the theories on the pagan things and stuff, but I don't agree with that.
Well, no, but I can't totally discard the fact because I can go and read it right now,
Yeah, but then
where
I
it
can
does
read
say
I
do.
can read where it really originated from, and it had nothing to do with pagan. And people, like I said, you can cut down the tree, and then after you decorate it for Christmas, then you use it for firewood.
Yeah,
But
but I'm talking about people that point out where it says literally in the King James anyway. I don't know what translation. It's
but they
supposedly
talk
from the
about with the
Greek, where it
gold
says
and
don't decorate it with silver and gold. It does say that, but I don't
well,
know exactly
but I think they
why it
meant
says that.
I think it meant literally silver and gold, and in other words, they not to make it a an idol. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah,
And
I guess
people would.
what is it they say that the people that do say it's they're tricking us into worshiping what is it Osiris or Horus or whatever I forget one of those that they used to do it for. But I mean, we're not doing it in that spirit, and we're doing it for kids and telling them that it represents the Savior's birthday. So we'll see how we could be condemned for that. But I just don't feel it no more. I don't have no need to do it, and I'm not anti people that do. I'm not going to ruin their fun and make them
Why does
like I did
God?
that on Valentine's.
Why does God hate Saint Nicholas, Tamara? Saint Nicholas. Tamara said God
Well,
hates
that is a
Saint
little
Nick.
bit creepy when you look at the older versions of Santa Claus and he's got claws and sharp teeth. That is a little bit
That
scary.
wasn't the version. That was someone else's version. But Santa Claus came from Saint Nick. It was a saint in somewhere in Europe that used to dress in a red suit and give food and gifts. And
Well, it's the same as
that's where that
Valentine's
came
Day.
from. Huh?
I said Valentine's Day, you can go to all the people, they'll tell you it's a fertility, a pagan holiday about eggs and bunnies and whatever that god is, the fertility goddess, and it was all about blood and blah, 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 and ripping hearts out. Well, why would you ruin that when we're looking at it as a day to tell someone you love them? So, I don't buy into that too much either.
Yeah. Well, just like, Easter, the resurrection of Jesus. And anyway, yeah, so I don't either. And I know God knows what we're celebrating. He knows our heart. So, you know, if the internet hadn't came about, I never would have heard that those things were even considered pagan, you know. But
Well, and it's funny you mentioned that because I just probably not that long ago was I interpreted it because I interpret things like I told you differently now that I used to just
right,
read and just
right,
keep reading. Now, I do see that it basically says in there if you don't know and you had no chance to ever know that you're really not held accountable for not knowing, but when you are presented something and it's undeniably true and then you continue to deny and want to just continue to do something because you just want to do it, you become more accountable.
well, of
So I
course,
kind of do
right,
believe that
right, of course,
because a lot of people will take truths out of the scriptures and know darn well that they shouldn't be doing something, but they still want to do it.
right,
And I think that's worse than never have knowing that you were doing wrong.
right, well, right, or if you know you're doing wrong, and you're like, I know I'm doing wrong, forgive me, versus, um, oh, no, this is okay to do, and then try to find some way to change scripture to your benefit, where you're misleading other
Exactly. A
people.
lot of people do that. Like
Yeah,
me, I'm
no.
covered in tattoos that I got when I was young, and people, church people especially, told me, "Oh, you can't be marking up your temple, and that's a sin." And I was like, "Nah." But now that I've read it again, I kind of do think that he probably doesn't want me to mark myself all up. I don't have anything evil on me. It's just silly kid stuff all over me.
Well,
But I would never get another one. I would never get another tattoo. Never. You could give it to me for free, and I wouldn't take it. But I got my kids' names tattooed on my neck, and I got all kinds of crap all down and down my arms. But it's
the
nothing
mark,
horrible.
the
Just
mark, the mark in Hebrew and Arabic also meant reputation. Did you know that?
no, I didn't.
Yeah, like someone has a bad reputation, they're marked. So,
Oh yeah,
so
I
it can
mean
be
now I
interpreted
look
that way, and not just getting a painting or ink on your body. You know what I mean?
yeah. Well, you do have to take in. I think he does give you some leeway for being young.
I guarantee
Someone call
you,
it.
your tattoos are not going to keep you from going to heaven.
I don't think so neither. And like I said, I at the time thought putting my kid's name on my neck was a tribute to him, and I didn't know better. But all the numbers and people's names and cities and nonsense and guns and whatnot all over me. I mean, thank God I didn't put anything too ridiculously bad on me. But anyway, did somebody call in? Did somebody call
No,
in?
no, no. That was my cell phone uh, sending me a message. Revelation hates.
Actually, speaking of the sun, speaking of the sun, it was active today because I was talking to some guys around the country on my radios today, which hasn't been a lot of that. We're on a solar minimum, I think, and it's not. We don't get a lot, but in the summer it picks up. So I talked to a bunch of different states, but nobody really wants to discuss anything like we discuss. It's just
Right,
nonsense. But that's still a hobby of mine anyway.
right.
Which, yeah, it's. I guess I'm a geek because I talk on. I like HF radio. I look up at the sky all the time, and that's about all I do. I used to, something else I used to get teased for. I used to metal detect and dig up Civil War crap and gold and coins and stuff. I don't do it no more. I used to. So, yeah, I've been a classic geek for most of my life, doing all that silly stuff. People still remember it too. You're that guy that used to walk around digging up stuff out in the ground, but when they would see the stuff I found and they would want to do it, they were like, "Man, you found all that?" I'd be like, "Yeah," because they were looking at it as just money, but no, it was just fun for me. I found it. I had thousands and thousands of Civil War bullets, and at one time, which ain't worth anything, but they're fun to find them.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't do it anymore. But anyway, what was the topic when I just burst in here like this?
I think we were talking about the asteroid that's supposed to be
Oh
getting
yeah,
ready
you
to
you
hit.
mentioned that. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
That's
no,
my
you're fine.
Alzheimer's.
No.
Yeah, that's my Alzheimer's kicking in, I think. But yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, I think I'm gonna check into that a little bit more tomorrow. I think it might be visible tomorrow night, so at least partially somewhere around in this country. But I didn't really look into it enough. I read about it 3 days ago and mentioned it on here, and then yesterday I saw something again, and now they've changed it a little bit, saying it's going to be even closer and should be quite visible and whatnot. But I didn't get into it deep enough to know which direction and time and whatnot. But yeah, if it's visible, I'm gonna hope I'll be out there trying to see it. So yeah, last year the big one shoot, it wasn't summer, it was last winter when we had a good one. I laid out in my front yard all night long up till 5 in the morning, and it was awesome, man. They were flying by me, and I'm not in a good area. I got tons of light pollution,
Right.
and I still enjoyed it. I
Right.
enjoyed it, and people just say, "Why are you wasting your time?" I just can't. I don't know. It's weird to me that I find it amazing, and other people won't even step out to
I
see one.
know.
They go, "I could just care less." They say.
I know.
I guess we're just a special breed. Doesn't mean we're better, but I don't understand how that can be interesting, especially people that claim to say, "Yeah, the Bible says there'll be signs and symbols in the sky," and I go, "Don't you want to come out and see them?" Nah.
Right.
Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, people are definitely in denial.
Well, I just don't understand how anyone can't find that absolutely fascinating. Now they don't have to buy into that something strange is going on and things are getting bad and the times coming to
But
an end.
the
No, I ain't
thing
gonna
is,
push
they
that on
know
nobody.
things are getting bad, but they rather, you know, people would rather not know and to go on about their business and their little happy lives, and not know, as if they can't be happy if they do know.
Well,
It's not going to change what's going to happen, denying it
no, it's
to
not. But
yourself.
and I know this on here, it's not popular for people to throw out other YouTube video channels, and I know that happened the other night with somebody and it's not popular. Well, no one's judging anyone, so I don't do it a lot. But I did look at one today, and I won't even say what channel it was. I used to like it. I check it occasionally, but he made a great point today. He said, "I'm out in the Mojave Desert, where I come every year." And this time of year, I come because it's not quite so horrible. It's usually almost 100, but it's not up in 130, so it's bearable. But today I'm here, and this is the first year that I've been here that it's 40 degrees and raining and kind of cold, and this is absolutely not good. And he's like, and people are starting to ask me now because they noticed me and say, "You're that guy from YouTube," and they're going, "What's wrong with the weather? How can the desert be 40 degrees when it should be almost 100?" And he's like, and he starts to tell them the whole thing, and he says people are going to wait until it affects them, then they're going to go, "What's going on?"
Right.
And then they done missed the boat. I mean, and hopefully they'll have time to get their self together. But I think he made a pretty good point there. That's all he said basically. But yeah, I won't mention the channel or nothing. But I
It's
found that
40 in
pretty
the it's
pretty.
40 in Arizona now?
No, he was in the Mojave Desert, and it was
Oh,
40 degrees. He had on a coat, and it was raining and cloudy. And he's like, "It should be blaring hot sunlight and dry as a bone."
right. Wow.
Basically Death Valley. He's in Death Valley, and it's not hot, and it'll be summer in a week or 2 weeks or something.
Yeah.
June 21st. That's
Yeah.
insane. I've
Yeah.
never seen it like this. But
Well, we're gonna
but then again, people say you're pushing fear on people. I'm not. I don't think so. I'm not scared about it at all. I just want to watch it. I mean, it says to watch it, and that's what I'm trying to do. That's what you're doing. I mean, you
Tamara
like it.
said in Flagstaff, Arizona, they right, it was snowing and they opened the ski resort.
Oh yeah, Colorado has snow today. Yeah, I noticed. I did read that. It
Well, that
snowed
was
somewhere in Colorado.
Flagstaff, Arizona.
That's crazy too.
Yeah,
Arizona. My dad was in Arizona a few years ago, and it was 120 degrees. He
yeah,
said.
yeah. Well, they opened the ski resort, the ski lift,
But I'll
because it
tell you
was
what, we didn't
snow.
have no issue with heat here today because I was out for 5 hours and it was horrible.
Oh, it ain't even
It for
bad yet.
me.
Wait till Sunday. Sunday's going to be
Well, they said
horrible.
tomorrow's going to be a little bit of a break, so I'm glad
Yeah,
because
but
I got to go
Sunday's
to a
going to be
doctor appointment.
95, which means it's going to be about 103.
Well, I
Because
didn't make no headway with your advice with my daughter, which I only tried once. I left a really nice message, but no, with the other
well, now
situation,
you don't
I
even know
told
that
you.
she's getting it.
Well, no, I don't. That's true.
Right.
So, but with the other one, I just apologize for anything I said out of the way, and if I was wrong, I just apologize and said. And she's starting to bring this. I said, just skip all that. Do you accept my apology? Talking about my fiance, and she said, yes, I accept your apology, and we've been talking like
Good.
great friends for the
Good.
last 2 days. So that's
Good.
nice.
Good.
And
Now I want you to talk to your ex-wife.
well, I've done that too. Or not since I told you about
Yeah,
it,
I
but I
want you
tried
to.
to call her back again. I was going
Okay.
to say, do you have more minutes? And maybe you want to talk for 5 more minutes, and she didn't answer. So yeah, I'm going to try that when if and when she answers again.
Yeah, and just, tell her, like I said, just say, look, I've changed and, I'm trying to start new with everyone. I want to start with a clean slate, you know. I'm sorry about the things I've done in the past. Don't even bring up the things they've done wrong. Let them apologize for that. You know what I mean? Let them get
Yeah, well,
their
they
own
actually
conviction.
haven't. They have at times, but it's been a long time
Okay,
ago.
so then yeah, just apologize. Say I'm sorry for any hurt that I brought upon anyone, and I'm I've changed, and I really want to start fresh. And have a relationship with my family, and which your ex-wife is part of your family because she's the mother of your children. She's the grandmother of your grandchildren. You know what I mean? So start with her
Yeah.
and let her work on your kids, and believe me, it'll all work out.
Yeah, I hope so
It
because,
will.
like I said, I'm
It
not no
will.
fear monger saying that we're running out of time. Because I mean, these
Yeah,
people
don't
just
even.
say that we got a year left, and then we might have 30 years left of this mess.
I mean, right? We don't.
100.
We don't know how long it's going to take, but
Yeah, it could be hundreds of more years of it going down and down and down. I don't
probably
think it's going to
not.
get
But
better.
yeah, probably not. But yeah, we don't know.
No, but I mean, I tell you what, it's amazing how much just simply how I was yesterday. I don't know, I don't think I talked to you yesterday, but I tried to make phone calls for two or three big issues in my life, and it was nothing but arguments and hatefulness on both ends, and nothing was getting done.
Right.
And then today I just woke up and prayed for an hour and just said, please give me the strength for everything because I got a lot to do today and I need everything to go good. And everything went perfect. It just
See,
did. Everyone was nice. I was nice. And it was just across the board. Absolutely 100% turnaround from
you need
yesterday.
to start every day that way,
Yeah. And it makes a big difference, man,
or
because sometimes I
just
realize I'm
wake
being
up.
overbearing
Just
and
wake up.
I'm not.
Just right. Wake up and thank God. Just thank Him. Thank you for all your wonderful patience and understanding with us. And, please bless the other people in my life, and may they know the patience and forgiveness that I know. May they know that towards me. And just trust that it will all happen.
Yeah, because 2 days I had hateful people at the Social Security Administration that were just telling me to be quiet and shut up, and I was being rude back, and it was just hours of craziness. And
Right.
then today I said, I'm going to try it again and just please let it go better and I'll do my part. And I got the sweetest, I think I told you this already, but I got the sweetest woman that possible on the phone that just was saying, everything's going to be fine. Don't worry. I got
Yeah.
you. And I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a big difference,
Yeah.
man. I don't know if they pick up on.
Oh,
The fact that
yes.
you're,
Absolutely. That negative energy? Yes.
and once again, I don't, and people mistaken that I'm veering from the scripture at all and getting into this with the power of attraction. I don't buy into none of that. But there's something to the fact that what you put out, you get back in. So I realize now, every time I would scream and yell and get in an argument, and I'm at something, I'm saying stuff to people, and they're saying it back, that all you guys are doing are just pushing negative energy
Yeah. Yeah.
back
But
and forth, and
Jesus
it's bouncing
said,
back and forth. And that's
Jesus
and
said it's more important what comes out of your, when people were talking about it was a sin for whatever one of the guys was eating or something. And Jesus said it's more of a sin what comes out of your mouth than what you put in it. So yes, the words we speak are very important. And yes, you should
yeah.
always speak with love, patience, understanding, and kindness, even if the other person doesn't. You know, I mean, I have people call me all kinds of names, and I say, you know what? God loves you, and I forgive you. And then,
Funny thing is,
that's
I'm the
it.
weird guy now in the grocery store because I was in there today, and most people they just look miserable and upset when you
Yep,
pass them. So I'm that guy now that I used to hate. That I go, "How are you today?" to everybody, and that
right,
talkative, good afternoon, smiling guy. And it only works on about 1 out of 5 people, but mostly older ladies. Well, that
right.
seems in with me. But when it does hit, and they smile back and go, "Oh yeah," it just feels so good. It makes me feel wonderful. And I used to be the guy banging around wanting people to get out of my way, and now I just casually walk through. And I hope somebody's sticking up on that. I really do.
Right,
I'm doing it for me. I'm doing
right.
it for me, but
I just always tell people God loves you or God bless you.
yeah,
And
I say that too, and it ain't even unless you're really a bad person. No one, even if you can tell they don't really want that. No one really, if they don't say anything back, that's
I
still
don't,
better than going screw your God. No one's they have to take it. It's almost like you see them go. I can't argue with that.
right.
So I do it all the time to people now, and it feels wonderful. Been just walking around with a chip on my shoulder all the time, going, "Hey, no one's pushing me around." I just get out of people's way, even if I'm not in the wrong. Let people go by. People go, "I'm sorry." I go, "No, go ahead. I ain't in no hurry." It feels great, man.
Right.
Total difference. Yeah, I used to have an anger issue, and I was impatient, and now I let that go. And those are simple things, but every little bit that you build up, much less. I was waiting on my ride today, and I was just reading through different chapters and books, and every time I do it, I find something new that I don't remember, or maybe I read it and it just didn't mean much. But yeah, it just I left the house feeling like $1 million, not physically, but just in general.
Right.
It's strange. I think I told you this, but I got a really old King James Bible that's starting to fall apart. I guess I need another one, but I realized today that I didn't know this a few weeks ago. I think I told you this, but I cut my finger real bad. I bled all over this Bible. Every page of the Bible has my
Really?
blood all over every page. I don't know if that's a bad thing or not.
It just happened. It doesn't mean anything.
Because I didn't know. I had bandaged it all up and thought it was
Right.
okay, and then I was just reading for 2 hours and realized that I had just covered the thing in blood. And I don't think it means anything good or bad. I mean, it was an accident, but I do need a new one because pages are falling out of it now.
Yeah, you need a new one.
hmm I saw a guy mention one time he was disgusted that he went into a dollar store and he was talking about all the horrible food that was in there. And no, it was a thrift store, and he said he couldn't believe they had this giant bin in there of Bibles that they had thousands of them, and they were like $1, and they were just sitting there. And he was telling everybody that they should go and get them, but it is pretty amazing. that you could get one for $1 at a dollar store or a thrift store. I mean, I haven't seen it, but he was showing it. It was pretty amazing. Anyway, I don't want to tie it up no longer. I was hoping y'all would do something. I was had a good day. I can say I had a
I'm
good day
glad you had
today.
a good day, and I'm glad you shared that with me.
Well, yeah, I didn't do anything. I made my doctor's appointment that I have to go
Yeah,
to,
but
and
everything that happened had a positive outcome, and your conversations with people went well, and it's just going to continue to get better, and you're going to be like, wow, just having this little talk with God in the morning and staying focused on that and being pleasant really, really works, because God wants us
well,
to love
actually, I'm
everybody.
starting to do it all day long, I can go on and on forever. Like they were taking my blood pressure, and she took it and said, "Well, wait a minute, that can't be right. You'd be dead if it was that high. It must be the thing that we got to do it again." And I said, because it's usually always a little high, and they always go, that's on the borderline. So she said, "Let me do it again." So I just closed my eyes and said, calm down, and your blood pressure go where it needs to be, and just relax. And she said, "Oh, yeah, it worked now. You're perfect. Oh, that's actually better than it's ever been." And I was like, "Really? It's amazing." So just little things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I don't know if I'm doing it or if God's doing it or what, but I mean, that kind of stuff works. It really does, man. Just
God's working with you.
yeah, well, I trust in it now, and before I pretended to trust in it, but deep down, I think I was
Right,
just playing like a role.
right, right. And that's the difference, having that faith.
Yeah, now some people will say, "Well, I could do that," and I don't believe in none of that stuff. I just, it's just, the people that talk about ascending and positive manifestation, whatever you believe, and you can make it, and it could be something to that. I mean, maybe they're tapping into the same thing we are, and not realizing it, whatever. But it's just not. It doesn't resonate with me. That's all. I have no problem with people that do that. I don't think they're bad people at all. Not at all. No judgment whatsoever. It's just it doesn't resonate with me, so I don't want to do it. That's
Right,
all.
right.
Yeah, because a lot of times it's about if you want money, just visualize it and every day see yourself with it. And I'm thinking, well, I can't do that. I was telling my fiance tonight, when I look at my gigantic shoe collection, which I spent probably $5,000 on, and I only wear maybe 3 out of the 150 that I went around the world looking for. I feel disgusted that I bought them, because I'm like, I'm not going to wear those, and I don't like them. I don't like seeing them. I don't know why I bought them. I wish I could figure a way to give them to someone who has no shoes. I would gladly give them all away except for a few that I need, because I do need something on my
There
feet.
are
But I
there
didn't
there
need.
are some churches that actually collect shoes to give to countries, to
But I mean,
people
these
in
are like
countries.
$200 a pair
I don't
because they're
care.
made out of certain
I don't
colors and
care.
suede and
I don't care.
transit. It don't mean anything anymore, though. Yeah, I know what you mean. The shoes are shoes. It doesn't matter if they're expensive and name brand or not. I'm just so disgusted that I ever thought that was important.
Right.
And it was excessive. It was excessive. I was very excessive. Like, it's okay that I bought a few radios because I enjoy it, but I didn't need to buy 500 of them in 3 years. Why would I do that? It's
Right.
just absolute. It was ego, materialistic, and just greed.
Right.
And I feel bad about it. But I'm not going to live in the past. I've donated a few of them. I saw an ad one time actually looking to buy more stuff. But I saw an ad on a
At
ham
least you're
radio
honest.
site where a guy said that he was a crippled veteran and couldn't afford one, but he would love to have one. I donated one of mine to him, and I felt wonderful about it.
Right. Right.
Now, everyone said, well, he could have been lying just to scam it from you. I'm like, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all to me if that's what he did, and it doesn't take away what I did.
Right.
I'm not going to go into everything being skeptical. It's the same with helping people with the signs saying they're starving. We went over this. It doesn't matter if they take that money and buy alcohol or not. I gave it to them because they were asking for money for food. So what they do with it is I can't control that, but I can control what I do.
Right.
And that's what that's what I try to do. I gave, like I said, I gave that couple with the baby my last $2 and walked home because of it. And it was the best thing that happened to me that
Right.
day, except I had sore feet and I was really hot, but I felt good otherwise. Now, I believe they probably did use it to feed the baby. So, anyway, I wish I could do more stuff like that, but I'm very limited. I'm scraping and scrounging.
Right. I know. I know the feeling.
Anyway, who else is in there? Because I got the chat off. I'm going to get off so I can get back in there and say hey to a few people. And I don't have a lot more to say tonight. I just wanted to touch in with
Right
you. And
now, Tamara and which is daughter of the Most High, and Patrick.
okay,
There's other
hi,
people in
daughter
there,
of the
but they're
Most
not
High.
typing.
And
So
but anyway, it's I'm glad I found this because I had started to scale back anything on YouTube down to about 3 or 4 things. There's still 2 places that I'll check if they do something. But as far as the nonstop ones that just pour in, I just go whip it. I just don't want to see it. I don't want to hear
yeah,
anything about
yeah,
any more disasters or scandals. I just don't have no interest. So if
yeah.
I hadn't have found this, I probably wouldn't be doing anything with this right now at all. I don't know what I'd be doing.
How did
So
you find
yeah,
me?
I'm glad I'm welcome here. Y'all don't know me, and
Of course, but
maybe I'll have
how
to.
did you find me?
Oh God, that was the most bizarre thing in the world. I have no idea how it showed up. I was amazed you were in Virginia, and I said, "This lady's in Virginia, and they're talking about exactly the topics that I want to talk about." I have no clue, absolutely no clue. I just said, "Hey, I'm subbing to that," and then I checked it the next day and noticed there was people on here, not a lot, which is better because if there was 100 or more, I wouldn't be talking.
Right.
Yeah, and I'll never go back and listen to myself ever. So
No.
that's not going. No, 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 no. Then I probably will never call again. So I just
No, you sound
fly from
fine.
the
You
hip.
sound fine when you call, so I don't know why you say that.
Well, I played hockey and I boxed, and so most of my top teeth are knocked out. And I could fix them, I guess, but I'm not trying to go out and get no woman or nothing. And so it is what it is. But it's not like I didn't take care of them because my bottom teeth were the dentist said, "Out, your bottom teeth are perfect, and why your top ones are all messed up?" I said, "Yeah, because I got punched in the face a bunch of times, and they got knocked out, and the fillings fell out and whatever." And he's like, "Well, you can get, I guess, fake teeth or whatever." And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess I can." And it's like $300 or $400, but it's not that a big of a thing for me. I'm not trying to impress anybody. It's not a big thing to me right now. And I had fun. I had fun boxing and playing hockey and doing all the stuff that made me have to get them broken. So no big regrets on that. And it ain't a big thing to me. So some people will be like, "Well, I'm not looking for a wife or nothing." So, and even so, if someone would turn you down because of that, because I was like the cool guy there for a while, man. I was Mr. Cool, big bad guy that could knock people down and beat people up, and that's nonsense. I don't want to do that to nobody. But it was a hobby. It
Hey,
wasn't like I went out
Glenn.
and did that.
Patrick says he only has 3 teeth left.
Well, I got all my bottom teeth, but my top teeth, I had like 5 that fillings fell out, and 2 or 3 other ones got infected, and the 2 front ones had been knocked out long ago, and so finally it was just it was so painful and so many problems and twice. Well, actually, the second next, not the last one, but the second to last one in Detroit. I was in the hospital for a month, and they said I almost died from it. So I was like, darn, I didn't know that could kill you. So I still let it go, and it happened again. And I was back on my way to the hospital, but I stopped at a special dentist, and he said, "Well, I can keep you out of the hospital, but you got to give me $15,000 tonight in cash." And I was like, I just happened to have it, which I can't imagine that I would have that, but I did, and I just gave it to him, and he took care of it right then, and I've been fine since. So that's what it was. I don't know what all he did. It took like hours and hours because it wasn't just pulling teeth. It was like infections and surgeries and all kind of crazy stuff.
Right.
But it was a blessing that I did have the money at the time, which now, God, I couldn't. It would take me 2 years to save $15,000. Now, probably 10 years. But yeah, it was just so abundant
Well,
at the
yeah,
time. But I don't feel bad about it. I did
infections in your mouth.
squander a lot, but I gave a ton of money away to people. And I don't know if that was good or not, but I did.
Infections in your mouth can go straight to your heart.
Well, they were saying this was going to my brain and getting into my spine and stuff. So it kind of scared me.
Yeah.
And the doctor that came in there said, this was a week into it. He's like, "Oh my God!" And I said, "What?" He goes, "They got you on the world's strongest antibiotic that they make. This is for people whose legs and arms are cut off." He said, "You might have needed this a week ago, but they don't need this. You don't need to still be on this now after a week. You're quite a bit better. I'm gonna lower this somewhat." Which I hate antibiotics, but I mean, I don't think I had a choice at that point.
Right.
So he put me on something else and sent me home with some stuff. And you got to take care of this right away. But I didn't. I let it go another 4 years and went on with my life. But when it came down to it, I wasn't going to worry about money when it came to.
Right.
I mean, does anyone else call in today? Did Spencer check in, or
No,
I was a little late?
I didn't even start the show until almost 11:30. I got home from work late.
I
So.
will admit one thing, and I'm not doing anything guilty or anything that I would care about, but I got the kind of fiance that is still in that jealous stage, even though I've told you our situation. It's really weird. If she knew where this was, she would definitely get on here and listen and watch all this because I
Well,
send her a few things here and there, and she keeps it and says, and she follows. She hates it all, but she'll go and look just to see what I comment, what I say, because she wants
right.
to know everything I'm saying and who I'm saying it to. She still has to know, but she don't think she has any idea about this. Even though she could be listening right now, I wouldn't care.
Right.
I'm not doing nothing wrong. I told her that I found some really nice people, and one's in Virginia, maybe two, I don't know, and and a few others scattered about, and they're interested in the same things I am, but she doesn't say nothing. Normally, she would be like, "Well, good for you. I'm glad someone else likes to look at the sky," but she won't say nothing about the scriptures because uh, she used to be like that. She just don't do it no more. It's like she stopped and I started.
Right.
It's weird. I used to ask her to sit with me and read with me and let's do it together. And I said it means so much more to me now. And she never wanted. She never wanted to. She would be like, no. So I don't know what that's about. That's kind of weird that she's kind of pushed it aside, and I've embraced it. It's total opposite. But now I'm talking to her about it all the time, and she's acting like she could care less. When we first met, it was the complete opposite. She was showing me all these books and saying this is what I read every day, and this is how I start my day. And I was like, whatever. But now it's the opposite. It's so weird. I wish we could get on the same page.
Well, if that's meant to be, it'll work out. Just leave it in God's hands. It'll work out. You just be the best representative of Christ that you can be. You know what I mean? and
Yeah, that's what I
and,
do.
and everybody that's supposed to be drawn to you will be drawn to you.
Yeah, I tried to check out another similar thing a few weeks ago, and it turned into a room full of people. This is what they were arguing over. It was about 15 people actually arguing back and forth because one person was saying Jesus, and the other one was saying Yeshua, and the other one was saying Yahuwah, and they were arguing back and forth. I'm not a
Wow.
Jew, and the other one's going, well, you're using the wrong name. And they literally spent an hour arguing back and forth on who
Wow.
was saying shalom and who wasn't saying shalom and who was right about the translation. I said, this is nonsense.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you
And then
know,
someone will say Yahweh, and one person will go, that's his real name, and someone else will go, no, that's a pagan name. And they spend an hour arguing over it. And I'm thinking, what's going on here? I don't judge anyone for any of that.
Satan is deceptive.
Yeah, well, that's what he probably loves that to go. Look,
Yes.
they're arguing over some translations here, and even to call each other racist names
Wow.
and saying, "Well, why are you talking like a Jew? Are you Jewish?" And they even got into more bizarre things. I had some guy tell me that my last name was a Jewish last name. I'm like, well, that's news to me, but if it is, I don't know, and I could care less if it is.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think one of my first callers was talking about something in politics and went on to about Jews and blah blah blah, and I said, wait a minute, I'm gonna tell you right now, I already know you don't know what you're talking about. As soon as you put all of a group in a sentence, you know, I know you don't know what you're
Yeah.
talking about because you don't know everyone in any group. You don't
Nope,
know
we don't.
all Mexicans. You don't know all Jewish people. You don't know all Catholics. You don't know all long-haired hippies with tattoos. You don't,
No, you don't. No,
So,
but I totally am convinced that a large population that currently resides in Israel do not believe Jesus is the Savior, and they're going to have to, hopefully, when he comes back, he's going to redeem them, and they're going to realize that they were wrong, and they're going to accept him, and it's going to be all good. But yeah, I believe that to be
well,
100%
scripture,
factual. But to hate them for that up until then,
right,
I'm not going to do
right,
that.
right, right. The scripture says that it's going to get really bad for them
Yep.
to where they need to call on God, and then He'll be there for them. But He's going to let it get
Yeah.
bad because because of their pride or whatever, and they so yeah, it's Scripture actually talks about that. So yeah, we pray that that they wake up, majority wake up before that has to happen. But yeah,
No, I mean, it doesn't matter to me that there are some Jews and I hear them talk all the time that Jesus was nothing. He's boiling in hell right now. Blah blah blah. And I don't like to hear that, but I'm not going. I don't need to point out that he's a Talmud Jew, and that's why he believes that. He's just a person that believes that is misinformed.
right,
That's all he is, and he's
right,
still redeemable.
right, exactly,
That's the
exactly.
amazing thing is. I guess there is some exceptions to not being redeemable. There's obviously people that, or I don't want to say people. There's obviously whatever you want to
Satan
call them.
entities, evil
There's
entities.
people that are I don't think have any redemption that walk this earth right now. But it's probably not very many. I don't know what the exact rules are. I've always thought that everyone could be redeemed.
Every
There's maybe
every
a few exceptions.
well, every human being, um,
Yeah, a true human being. Yeah, I think any of them is. Even as a young kid, it always gave me this weird feeling inside, a good feeling. Even in Sunday school as a little kid, hearing you getting your first lessons when you would hear that there was a murderer next to Christ on the cross who got saved like right before he died. That always felt so wonderful to me.
he was a thief,
And
actually. He was a thief.
Oh, the people, yeah, but they referenced to that something about that he was one of the rare cases. I don't know if I got this right. That actually ascended directly to heaven, unlike I guess that's how it works for the rest of us. Forget where that's at, but I came across it recently and said, I don't remember this. He got to go directly to heaven, and I was told that we don't go directly to heaven when we die. But I don't know. I mean, I'm
See,
not an
nobody really
expert. I'm
knows
just
that because the ones that die and stay dead don't, or go to sleep and stay asleep, don't come back to tell us. So the ones that have, this is what's interesting. The ones that have died and went to heaven and and told it wasn't their time yet, the what they call NDEs, because science
yeah.
refused to say that they actually did die, so they call them near death experiences. No, they were dead. They were death experiences, and they would, they were sent back to their bodies. But one of the interesting things, and I need to talk to John about this tomorrow if I can remember, um, is that they're always greeted by someone that they know, that they love, that they trusted, that has already passed on, and then they see Jesus. I mean, except young children. Young children usually just see Jesus, except for Colton. Have you seen the movie Heaven is Real?
No, I haven't, but I've read a lot about
It's
it.
a good movie. It's a
Yeah,
good
I want
movie.
to see it. I actually do.
And um so anyway, Colton saw his sister that he never knew anything about. And his father was a preacher and the church put him out because of his son's story.
Hmm.
And but anyway, the son was telling mom he had met his sister. And she looked at him. She's like, "What do you mean, your sister?" And so she had a miscarriage like 4 or 5 years before she had him. And obviously, he was only 4 years old, so they never told him, you know, that she had a miscarriage and yada yada yada. And he told them what her name was and how old she was in heaven and blah blah blah. And then he told his father why was he angry with God, because when he went in that the little church that they have inside the hospitals, the little sanctuary, he went in there and he was hollering at God. He was angry. He's like about his son. And uh and then his son told him, well, that's why Jesus sent me back. And his father looked at him and said, you mean it was something that he said, it was angry though, right, the father. And he looked at his son. He said,
Yeah.
you mean he answered that prayer?" And then he told his mom
Yeah.
and
Well,
son,
I don't think young children, especially unborn ones or just born, I don't think the same rules apply to them
"Oh,
as a full
absolutely
grown
not.
adult.
It says when you become to the age of accountability. So prior to that,
Exactly.
your parents are responsible for your your soul. And um so we're supposed to teach them right. But no, children are not held accountable, not until they get what's called the analytical mind, which is the adult mind, and that happens in puberty.
Yeah. Well, actually, I was reading something recently about they were saying kids start to become influenced by good and bad, and the other by I think like age 8 or 9 or something. And after
Age
that,
seven.
they
Age 7 is very important. Like, don't let your kids watch crazy
mm-hmm.
stuff on TV or play violent
Cause they
games or anything at age 7. It's little certain neurons connect in the brain at that age, and it's very important.
But you also notice that 7 years they've been soaking up everything you've said and done and acted
Oh, of
towards them in
course.
those years as well.
Of course. But something
And
happens.
and when my kids are that age, I curse like a sailor, and I feel so bad about it that they took that in. But also, I know they have amazing abilities to see and hear and connect to things that we don't have. And I don't remember when I was that age, but I've seen kids at 3 and 4 years old just acting totally bizarre, like they see things and are talking to people. And all kinds of stuff. Now I know that's true. I don't know to what degree though. But it's the reason why the sick psychopaths are so obsessed with doing everything they can do with kids because of their innocence. It's their innocence that they, maybe their blood and all that other crap too, but something's to that. And I just that's one thing I have always been, even when I was lukewarm at best, is I had no tolerance for anybody being treating a kid in any way in a bad way. I mean, I would walk up to a total stranger if they were being too rough with a kid, and I would step in, and people would say, "Well, that's not your right." But I would, and I had a friend that was much worse than me, and I'm saying he was a good guy at all, but he was like that with kids. He loved his kids, but he wasn't a saint at all, believe me. But he seen a guy just slapping the crap out of like a 3-year-old in the grocery store line for reaching for something. I mean, he was just slapping the crap out of her face for grabbing a candy bar. And he went up and said, "Bro, don't be treating that kid like that." And the guy said, "Hey," he was big, and my friend was kind of small, like Mike Tyson. And he said, "Man, this is my kid. You better get away from me." My friend just one punch to the face. The guy was down and out on the floor, gone, out, down. He couldn't even get his bearings. And he was like, "Hit your kid again. Hit your kid again." And I kind of thought that was cool, but, not really violent thing cool. But that's how I felt. I just wasn't like that. I just didn't like it. I would say, "Yo, man, ease up on the kid a little bit." But I don't know. That does get into a kind of iffy zone
Well,
to
there
get
was
into.
this in psychology class. There was this story in one of our textbooks that this man put his 7-year-old across his lap and he's whipping him because he had hit his little brother, right? And the father's, while he's hitting him, he's saying, "This'll teach you not to hit anybody smaller than you." And it dawned
Oh,
on the
he's doing it.
right, it dawned on the father as he said that and as he was doing that, that wasn't teaching him not to do that. That was teaching him how to handle anger or displeasure. You hit somebody smaller than you.
Now, the most I
Hey,
ever did
Story
was
Night. Go ahead.
I took the Bible literally when it said, "Spare the rod, spoil the child." So I did at times hit my daughter on the hand, but I even feel guilty about that, believe me. But I did do little things like that, like I would just do a little tap, but I never, ever did anything more than that. I just didn't feel that it would be in any way helpful. Other people disagree, but I mean, I don't know if "spare the rod, spoil the child" literally means that whippings are a good thing, like some people think. But I think, just a slightly, sometimes a little tap, it does take more than just the no word, because a lot of kids will just run around saying no all day, and I can't stand that. Wow, that's horrible. It really is. But I didn't have too bad of bratty kids, I guess. They were a little bit wild, but that's because I wasn't like my dad. I was scared of my dad. I think I only got one good whipping when I was like 4 or 5, and after that I just never said another out of the way word again. It was real easy. So anyway, yeah, children are special, man, and and it's so bad that I have to feel bad, like in a store or something, when I'm next to a little kid and he's looking at me and smiling, and I want to go, "Hey, little guy," whatever. And then I think, well, she's gonna think I'm some kind of weirdo, so I'll just tell him I won't do it. And that's society created that, and that's terrible. But I was so overly protective over my baby daughter that she was about a month old, and I was getting ready to get into the car. She was in the carrier, and these guys were playing baseball in the parking lot, and the guy let go of the bat, and it flew across and went into her basket, and it hit her, and she started screaming. I didn't know how bad or whatever, but I went over there and started choking the guy, pushed him against the wall, and he was like 18 or something. And then I just caught myself and realized he didn't mean to do it, and I got to stop. But yeah, I was very protective. I was, I didn't want no one to come near her, and I constantly talked to her about everything and strangers, and I was obsessive about it. But I think everybody's like that, especially with girls, I guess. And now she don't talk to me, and it's like that makes me feel even worse.
Right.
And she remembers. She says she remembers that I was just most wonderful dad in the world. And I'm like, man, I want that back. I want it back. I don't care if she's 30. I want it back. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed at all. Not with me, anyway. Nothing could ever change that. But anyway, I'm not gonna cry about that on here every night. I respect what you told me, and I think it's good, and it makes me feel better. So.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Like I said the other day, it was kind of weird. I forgot who said it. Whoever that was. That said, oh, I thought you were interesting. And I'm like, no one said I was interesting. Like I said, it's been God. So the last time someone said, yeah, you're an interesting person or a fun person or anything, it's been so long. I was like, hey, I think I might hang out here. Should they,
that was Suzanne.
Yeah, well, I still thank her for that, and anybody really, because some people can get on here. I know maybe I'm one of them. People can get on here and get long-winded on topics that are way off of what we want to hear, but I don't care. I let them go. I'm not going. I don't want to go. Well, let's get on with it. I'm not going to do that to nobody, and I hope they wouldn't do it to me. Everyone seems very patient on here, and no one seems to. I've never seen anyone get mad and go, "Can we get off of that?" or whatever. Just let people go, and people can talk about anything. I just got tired of the same old every day. I don't want to hear every day on what might happen tomorrow and what they're planning and this and that. I just ended up going, why am I reading this stuff? It makes no difference. If it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. And looking into it does me no good.
Right. Well, see, the way I look at it is that we're all human beings and we're living in this world, right, every day. And so we have things that we want to talk about that, might not have to do with the sun or the moon or politics or anything else. But as Christians, I guarantee you, we can always find a way to help someone and to relate everything that's happening to Scripture, And so, even if, like, I had a couple of what you call trolls call in the beginning, they were pretty bad. But so one called in one night, and he told this story, and I didn't believe him, And I told him, I said, well, I don't think, I said, I'm gonna tell you, even trolls can, God can use trolls for the good and the glory of the kingdom. I said, because even if your story isn't true, someone out there actually probably has that problem, and so the message will be for them, so sometimes somebody talking about something helps someone else, someone else
that's a good point
isn't
that you're
willing to
making
share
in
it.
general.
Right, they're feeling the same thing, or they're feeling something, and they don't, they can't come out and share it, but then someone else brings it up and we discuss it, and then they can get some relief from their situation.
Well, when I told you I had a hard conversation on the phone and I slammed it down a few nights ago, that was one of the main issues, that there was miscommunication. I was trying to say kind of what you just said. You said God sometimes uses trolls because, and I was trying to tell her, a lot of the people over the years I've pointed out to you, that I've told you that I think these people are bad, and these people are doing this, and this group is not good, they're doing this. I said, you got to realize that even those people are not necessarily being controlled by Satan himself, that God often uses. He's still in control.
Right.
Like, oh, you're saying now that God's doing all this bad stuff? I'm going, no, but he's allowing it to happen for a reason. He's ultimately in control of any of it. He could stop it if he wanted, but he doesn't want to stop it. He's got to let us have to choose if we accept it or not accept it. She didn't get that. She was trying to say, I was saying God is causing all the problems on the earth. I'm like, no, he's not causing them, but he's allowing them to happen.
Right.
She was thinking that she was taking that as blasphemy, that I was blaming the troubles of the world on God. I'm like, no, you're mistaking what I'm saying. I mean, it's obvious if the Creator Himself wanted all this to stop, it would stop. But it's not. That's not how it's set up.
Right.
Then it would just be easy, and everyone would just keep living the way
Just
they're
like,
living, and go, well, God fixed it, and
right.
she wasn't getting it.
Just like it, well, you could use Saul as an example, because let's say God had stopped Saul before he ever led a Christian to slaughter. Then what miracle would it have been for him to turn into a Christian? It wouldn't
Exactly.
it wouldn't have been a big deal. But for the man that hated Christians and was leading them to slaughter to turn Christian, you know? So yeah, God could have stopped it ahead of time, but by letting it, you know, letting it play out, letting him make his own, choices, being led by Satan, and then having that change, that was, you know,
But I think she was taking it that I was trying to say God is in those people making them do that. I'm like, no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that they're doing that from some evil force that's gotten into them. But
right.
he's letting it happen. I mean, that's what prophecy is. It's telling you that these bad things are going to happen, and he's not going to step in. Not yet. He's going to let it happen. And how we react to it and
Right.
how we choose to accept it or not accept it is the whole point of it.
Well, right. He
We
gave
have
us
free will.
exactly what I was going to say. He gave us free will, and because he doesn't want to manipulate us, he could just say, "Hey, I am God, and you are going to choose me, or you're going to suffer, and you're going to do this, and you're going to do that." But he says, "No, you have a choice."
Yeah, this is my opinion, I guess, but I think it's absolutely the fact. That was the original reason for that 1/3 that got thrown down, was the fact that they were jealous of humans having free will, whereas they were spirited angelic beings above what we are, and or jealous of the fact that this is how I took it, is that why are these humans, they seem to have God's full attention, and He gave them free will. They can choose good or bad, and we're stuck being good. And we didn't get that choice, and they kind of were jealous, so He threw them down here and let them have it, and look what they did.
Right. Well,
They were like,
Satan was jealous. Satan was mad because God gave Adam dominion over the earth. And he's like, how can you give him dominion over the earth? I should have it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, but they didn't realize what they were. They were right hand men to God Himself, who didn't need any free will. They should have been totally fine where they were at. But I mean, that gets into a lot. But it makes total sense, man.
That's right,
I think back.
Patrick
I wish I could take back. Go ahead.
Patrick said, remember, Jesus was tested by Satan in the wilderness, and God did not step in and stop that.
No, but I just recently was probably a year ago, probably my whole life, never realizing that I take it as he was actually pretty close at times to having to fight that off. It wasn't like it was totally simple for him, because he was in a human form at that point, and he had the same urges and everything that we do, which is what makes him amazing, that he did resist that, because they don't act like that. The temptation of the offer that Satan gave him to, I'll give you all this, they act like that he actually thought about it for a second. It's not like he instantly was like, he being in human form, I think he was tempted. Now, that's how I take it, that he resisted, but he had to resist. It wasn't automatic, like, oh, are you kidding me? No, he actually was like us. He kind of had to think about it, I think. Obviously, he made the right choice, and he's sinless to this day. But I don't think it was no simple cakewalk. And he had urges that were just like we have.
Well,
I think he was just he had a little bit more help, maybe
he probably
resisting.
actually had to stop and let himself feel it, because I think part of the purpose of God wanting him to come in that form was
To
to
understand our
understand,
struggle.
right, to understand what it is to be a human, that what the, yeah. And so Jesus probably already knew he's going to say no, but he had to let it set in so he could experience the feeling that a human would experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm sure he felt a lot of what we feel,
Oh,
like the 40 days in the desert with nothing to eat, or I don't know if we had water or not, but 40 days without food, that couldn't have been pleasant for anybody.
no. And right,
Couldn't have been.
and then so when he comes back, he's got to be weak from that, and then the rest of the stuff happened. But
And I'll tell you a verse that still gives me chills every time I read it, because it makes me realize, even though he was God in the flesh, at that moment he was as much just a regular human as we were. Is when I read God, how, why have you forsaken me? It gives me chills every time I read it, because it makes me feel that he was hurting and he was not quite yet filled in on what all was going on, and he was literally looking up like, "What's this all about? Why is this happening?" It gives me chills, man. That for him to be looking up, going, "God, Father, why have you forsaken me? Like, why'd you let this happen?" He didn't know yet.
Right.
So that's amazing to me, and it's inspirational, and it gives me the weirdest good feeling ever when I read that. Every time I read it, because people just assume he knew the whole deal, going in. Well, I got to do this, and he carried the girl, all that stuff. I don't think he knew exactly what was transpiring yet. I really don't. That's just my opinion again, but
well,
some might agree.
knew. Yeah, I think he knew. I just don't think he knew how tough it would be as a
I mean,
human.
yeah, the suffering had
Right.
to be great, and he was probably thinking, "Man, well,
Right.
what's going on here?"
Right.
But yeah, it's that story used to. My mom used to read that and cry and cry and cry, and I used to think she was silly, and I would be like, "What are you crying about?" She was like, "I cannot read this part of the Bible and not cry." And
Yeah.
she was real sensitive and a wonderful woman. She wasn't a church going lady, but it was strange that she would read the Bible all the time and actually shed tears, and it always kind of not creeped me out, but it freaked me out to see that.
Oh
Like, how
man,
can this book be affecting her?
I bawl every time I watch Passion of Christ. I mean, I just start crying and boo-hooing, and I mean, not just a couple of tears. I mean, I cry for like an hour. I'm like, poor Jesus. I'm so sorry we did that to you, and you must really love us, and your Father must really love us to allow. Cause I can tell you, as a parent, that would be the hardest thing on the planet to do, to sacrifice your
Oh.
child for someone else, you know?
Hmm.
But we're all God's children, so I guess he looked at it as I've got to let my son go through this, or, part of himself go through this for us so he can have all of us back.
Yeah, I often wonder sometimes if everything was still exactly the way it was, only the Old Testament was available right now, and that's all there ever was, and we still lived in this day, and every time we'd sin, we'd have to go get an animal and sacrifice it. How weird that would be, and how much easier that it is now, and yet still people have trouble finding it. It's free. It's already been done. It takes nothing but a little. Well, it takes something, but you don't give up. You don't have to go out and kill an animal anymore to ask for forgiveness of a sin. I mean, we got it so much easier, and most people don't even recognize it and grab onto it. It's amazing. It's amazing that
Yeah,
people don't
that's
see.
what's confusing about this red heifer that they've got ready for this perfect blemish-free red heifer that they have for the offering when they when they opened the third temple, right? Jesus died as the last sacrifice for sin. His blood shed for sin was the last bloodshed that had to be. You know what I mean? So them sacrificing that may be the abomination right there, because them sacrificing another blood sacrifice after Jesus paid the way.
Hmm.
You know, that's
Well,
how.
I don't think we're done seeing the false. I mean, I think there's already been some antichrist that's come and gone,
Oh yes, oh
and I
yes,
think prophecy's farther in than people think. A lot of people think
yes.
that it's just starting from Revelation page 1 now. I think we're well into it,
Oh
but yeah, there's
yes,
more deception coming,
yes. I think we're halfway
and some
into
people
it.
are trying to manifest exactly what is already written, and it doesn't matter how it comes about; it's going to happen.
Yes.
I don't think people that truly believe are going to have as much issue with wondering, is this it or is this one of the false ones? I think we're going to know. I just think we will. I don't think we're going to be easily deceived like a lot of people. And yeah, I hope that when it actually does happen, that a lot of people do get in so-called last minute. I mean, I hope so. I wish everyone could.
Yeah.
It's obviously not going to happen, but anyway, it gives me hope to continue every day. There was about 6 years of my life where I used to actually wish I didn't wake up the next day, and that was a horrible way to be. And tonight, even I spoke to my nephew tonight, first time, but I didn't get into this. But he's still stuck in that. Well, I think I was created, but I don't know. I can't buy into believing in God, because why would a God take innocent kids away and let innocent kids be hurt? He's one of those people, and I've tried to talk to him in the past about it, but he's kind of stuck in that. Why would you let people
All you
suffer?
got to
Why would
do is ask him, why would you blame the evilness on God when if you believe there was a good creator, then there's obviously an evil person trying to destroy it. So why would you blame it on God? Why don't you blame that on the evil one?
well, because he's been told that, well, God can do anything. He created all this. He could stop any of it. But I'm just thinking, well, stopping it, not getting people where they need to be.
Right.
But yeah, it's hard to explain to people that I've never cursed God and said,
Well, this is how I
but
look at
I
it.
have been just.
This is how I look at part of that. Okay, you know how we have the judicial system, right? Well,
Yeah, I hate it.
okay,
But go
so
ahead.
okay, right. I'm not. Okay, I'm just using it as an example for a moment.
That's cool.
All right, so God created a bunch of stuff up there, right? And He had angels and council and everything else, and obviously He made rules and laws, right? Now, God being who He is, He can't just change laws. The law is written. You do this. The wage of that sin is death, right? That was the
Yeah.
law. So God, being so loving, and this is what you could use to your nephew, sent His Son down here so that we didn't have to have death for our sin, because that was the wage for it. That's the law. God can't just change the laws, because then He would be wishy-washy. He wouldn't be the authority. You know what I mean? If he just, oh, I'll just change that because that didn't work for them, and I'll change that because that didn't work for them. So
Yeah, but there's
once
people that
Satan,
like to cherry
once
pick.
once
They'll take a
okay, there's a
scripture that
war.
says that I'm
There's
a
a
jealous
war.
God, and so,
There's
well, God just admitted He was a jealous God and then He condemns us for being jealous. That doesn't make sense. But then it also says He's a just God, so
right.
it evens out. The way I see it, it
Well, see,
evens out that.
some of the words in our English Bible, you have to pick them. Like say when you run across something like that bothers you, then go back to the Arabic and the Strong Concordance and the Hebrew definition of those words. Look up what the word meant then.
Yeah, I have been
Just
doing
like
it
the
a lot
word
lately.
tattoo that people are trying to use, or the word mark. Mark also meant reputation. So when you're reading it, you know what I mean, you can interpret it this way or this way. So if you don't have a bunch of other things, helper verbs and all that in there to let you know where that particular sentence was going, or the paragraph doesn't exactly lead you to what you're trying to find out, then
Well, yeah, I learned that with the word. It's been a while. I think was the word shoal maybe that I went back. People were arguing that were saying Jesus went to hell, and then you found out that Sheol means grave and it can mean hell, and it also
well, and then
so it could
there's
say he went
right.
to his grave.
No, he went to hell. He went to, but there's 3 levels of hell, and the part that Satan's going to be in the end starts with a T. I forgot the name of it, but it's the deepest, darkest. That's where Satan's going to be. That's not where Jesus went. Jesus went where. That's how he came back with the keys, and that's where he released those souls that were trapped there.
I've looked into that too. But yeah, you're right about the translation, but you can't get too caught up into that because that's an endless rabbit hole that you'll chase forever.
Well, no,
Going
but I'm
from the
saying on certain things, I'm not saying pick the whole Bible apart. I'm saying when you come across something um that seems to be a discrepancy, then look up the word in the old languages and see what it meant then, because some things have been lost in translation. You know what I mean?
I know that. I just learned about a week ago, and I don't know how true this is. Someone pointed this out. I guess I need to look a little more into it if it's even important enough to do so. That every language, what was it? Every language east of Jerusalem, we read left to right, and every language
Right, everything points
west
to
of
everything
Jerusalem,
points to
they read
right.
the other direction.
Everything points to Jerusalem, right?
Yeah, so they read, a lot of languages don't read like we do from this side to that side. They read from the back this way, and then the Romans, I think they were talking about them how their language. I don't know what's their proximity. Anyway, they basically still don't they still actually a lot of them use Latin or no? They're the only
I
ones that
think they
still read
do.
it.
I think they do.
And English is nothing but a twisted version of Latin, which I've been following a guy.
Twisted
Oh,
version
I
of
was.
Latin and
He's a real
Spanish
nice
and
guy. His name's Brandon, and you might want to check him out. And I ain't much. I don't promote channels, but he goes by Big Sim, and that's all he's been doing for 10 years is looking in different Bibles and looking back at the Latin and how English was totally created to keep us in bondage, man. And I do believe that English is definitely a language that they twisted out of Latin.
well, actually,
And a lot of words are.
our English language comes from a lot of different languages. Some of it is almost the same in Spanish. Some of it's almost the same in French. Some of it's almost it comes from a whole variety of if you go to the old whatchamacallit dictionary, the very first big, you remember the dictionary was super big, like a foot long
Yeah.
and half a foot thick. Um Darn it, I'm trying to think of the name of it. That dictionary. Anyway, a lot of our words come from, the roots of them come from all different languages. So they say the English language is the hardest one to learn.
Yeah, because of all, I used to wonder why, because it seemed easy to me compared to Chinese, like Mandarin or something. But I understand it now that because things have the same sounding word can be two different things, and that's not really present in many other languages. And words that mean the same can be spelled the same backwards and forward. And there's people that want to twist that English is an absolute evil language from its inception. It could be some truth to that,
I
but
doubt that.
it's interesting, I guess, to do something to do if you got free time. But I don't have no problem with people that don't want to use the word Jesus. If they simply replace it with a Hebrew translation, then who am I to argue with them? I'm not. I don't care. And I don't think people should attack me for saying, you understand Jesus means pig or swine. Well,
No,
that's the
it doesn't.
translation that you dug up somewhere.
Yeah, it doesn't.
But yeah, some of that's fascinating and something you can do, but I don't think it's the most important thing. I don't, but there's some people that I used to have Jehovah Witnesses that I didn't slam the door on them like a lot of people. I talked to them, and they all they wanted me to do is come to one service, which I never did. But I didn't hate them. They weren't preaching hate. I mean, I don't buy into that. But I had no reason to dislike them. They were very friendly and nice, so I let them in once a week, and they came and came and came and came. And I never went to even one, but they were nice people, and they have their new translation, and there's some of them at least are different. And some people say they're satanic and blah blah blah, but I didn't see that. I didn't see that whatsoever. They were nice people that. No, I don't agree with a lot of what they believe in, and I see some bad things going on at the top and whatnot. But no, I never treated them bad. I didn't want to slam the door in their face. They were always friendly and nice to me. They just tried to tell me that they wrote the Bible to be easier to read. As always told me, and that might not be all true, but I have no reason to be mean to them.
Right. Okay.
Not at all. They were both really good people. Now, at the top of that religion, if you want to call it a religion, I think there's some shady stuff going on with signing your homes over to people to the church and blah blah blah. But I mean, I'm still not going to judge them and be like that. I'm not slamming the door in their face like a lot of people do. They weren't horrible people so much, but I still think I'm fine with the one I'm with, and it feels right to me, and that's the best I can do. It's the best I can do right now, anyway. I mean, I don't think nothing's going to come along and just replace all this all of a sudden. Not at this point in my life. It took me my whole life to get here.
Right.
And I don't even. Me and my sister are talking tonight. We started reminiscing about our fun times in childhood, and as you get towards the teenage years, and we all go, "Oh God, I can't believe I did that and this and that." But I mean, it's something that was all right. I got past it, and I'm here today where I'm at right now talking to you. So obviously, I'm not unredeemable. I don't think anybody is, hardly anybody anyway. So anyway, I think I'm gonna jump into chat. I do have to get up quite early. I'm glad that y'all are on tonight, and I got to get a little bit out because I did have a wonderful day today. I still don't feel good, and it was a rough day, and the heat was hard. But no, I didn't have one angry thought today, and I walked around smiling and talking to people, and I just felt good all day about that anyway. So I wanted to share that basically, and it turned into this long thing. But I'm sorry for that. That's what I do.
I'm glad you had a good positive day, and tomorrow's going to be later today is going to be the same. And I hope.
Oh yeah, I'm convinced it is too. And then next week, hopefully, when I start to feel better, I'm going to be checking in with uh, Sky reports, and that's what I do. And you guys will be right here waiting and be interested, which is amazing to me. So yeah, I can't wait to get back to doing that again. I mean, I did that for 2 straight years, and
by this time next week, you might actually call in and tell me that you actually talked to your children.
Well, when I do that, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna have to say, I don't have to describe who you are and all that. I'm just gonna, I will. If it ever happens, I'm gonna say someone told me that this is how it was gonna happen. But the weird thing about it was, a lot of the people in my family were like, her husband is wonderful, and they met online too. And I'm thinking, well, those never worked out, but it's worked out, and they've had 2 children, and it seems to be, I don't know the inner workings, obviously, but it seems to be a perfect thing. Don't even know what like denomination or religion they're doing, or none of that stuff. But I'm thinking they're sticking with it. In the early days of it, I used to see videos of some church they went to, and it was a little different. So I wasn't quite sure what was going on there. But I think it's probably a good thing. She met a good guy, and they have 2 children, and they're still married, and it seems to be working out good. I want to be part of it. That's all.
Right, right.
Well, like I said, if she's still thinking I'm the way I was the day she left with that guy, that could be that simple of a reason why
Right.
that's to keep him at a distance.
That's probably where her head is. Yeah.
Yeah, because she moved into something she had never been around. We weren't like that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Raising her anything like that, and she moved into a family that's all they were. Even the guy she married was a skateboarder with tattoos and piercings, but yet on the weekends he went to different churches and was like a guest, like youth pastor type thing. And that was probably all new to her. And then to see his family be just all at church all during the week and outings and planning things around the country probably really changed her because she had no idea what that was about.
Right.
But the marriage worked, and the children came, and I think it's fine. It's just I don't know, and I want to know. So, yeah, I'm still hoping something happens there. But I'll let that be the final word. I'm going to jump back in the chat if you keep it going any longer. I'm staying for a few minutes and
All right.
see what anyone else has to say. And thanks for listening to me, everybody. If anyone's left, and you especially, Judy, thank you.
Thank you for calling in, Glenn. And like I said, I'm really happy to hear that you had a good, positive day. And I think your health will start picking up too, because that stress affects our health. And so when things are worried, when things are bothering us and got us down and all that, it affects our health. So I think your health is going to start picking up too. You're going to start.
Yeah, well, because normally, there was a long period where I thought it was just because I wasn't around children anymore that I just stopped getting sick. Minus like major things like a few infections, like I said, that I had, and a kidney issue. And no, actually, it's a miracle. I was told 7 years ago I wouldn't live another year if I didn't do this and this and this and this. And I actually feel better now than I did when I was told that.
Right.
So obviously, I do have things I still need to improve on. But I have done I watched my diet the last 5 years, tried to eat better. I've cut everything out except I still smoke cigarettes, and I pray every day for strength to be able to stop that. And it's still a rough thing, man. So I don't think that's going to damn me to hell or nothing, but I do need to try harder. I can't keep saying, I'm going to try, and then really not do nothing. I understand that. So it's a struggle. I hope that it's something that, because there's days where I literally almost cry out in tears for the strength to figure out how can I just say that's it, and people say it is that simple. You just say that's it and you stop. And I know it is, but, and I think that, and then I can still continue. So, I mean, I start getting to the point where I go, do I run out of repentance? I mean, do you get a certain amount and then they go, that's it, you used them all up, you don't get any more. I don't think that's true. I hope it ain't, because I do it every day. Every single day I go, I'm drinking my coffee, I think that's cool with you, but I'm about to light a cigarette. Please, please forgive me for doing it and give me strength to figure out how not to do it tomorrow. So I do that every day, and I've been doing it for about 2 years. But is that the same as someone that goes to a strip club every night and then comes home and says I'm sorry, and then I don't know. I don't know if it's the same.
Well,
Because I think it's clear that if you continually know you're doing wrong, continually repent, and you mean it, doesn't mean you can just keep doing it endlessly. I don't think that's the way it works. So
well,
yeah,
no.
I'm a little worried
If
about
it's
that.
something you have to repent for, not everything is a sin. And just like I don't believe our flesh is the temple, and the reason why is we leave the flesh behind. Our soul is the temple, not the flesh.
Yeah, I'm starting to investigate a little bit about the heart's role in all this too. I think the heart plays a bigger role than we're told too,
Well,
or that we understand. Not the physical heart, but
right. The soul. That's what I mean by it. That's the heart. That's your feelings. That's your intuition. That's your connection to God. That's your connection to other human beings. That's what drives you every day.
yeah, but there's the people that will tell you that you've been lied to and scared and told that opening your third eye is a bad thing to do, and that's all part of the nonsense. And actually, that's your connection to God. But I don't get that from what I read. I get
If
that.
that was our connection, then God would have been saying your third eye, your pineal gland, not your soul.
Yeah, but there's people that twist it that saying that it is saying that.
Like I said, does it sit right with your soul when you hear it twisted? You just use the word twisted to say. You didn't say they described it. You said they twisted. So that you already
Yeah,
telling me it
exactly.
doesn't sit right with your soul, because you
No,
use the
it
word
doesn't. But it
twisted.
does with them. It does
Well,
with people. I've even heard people talk about the sole of your feet
well, there's
is actually
people
what you're.
that think it's right to serve Satan.
Oh
So
yeah, exactly.
so that doesn't mean just because these people believe this third eye thing is the now that may be where our intuition is. Like the
Well, it's
connection.
obviously got a purpose. It's obviously got a purpose, or it wouldn't be there.
Right. But it's right. They're trying to. They're almost turning it into an idol thing. Like they want to idolize
Yeah,
their
especially
pineal
the
gland.
whole guru thing that
Yeah.
these
And then so we know they're wrong for doing that.
yeah, it doesn't feel right to me. I can only go with what feels right and what doesn't.
Right.
And the thing is, if that was where I was at, then I probably wouldn't be on here. So I'd be somewhere that was more like that. So I gravitated here for a reason, and it wasn't by choice, and it wasn't by searching or looking. I'm still like, what did I tell you the first time? It just showed up.
Yeah.
I don't know how it just showed up. It was just in my feed.
Because I'm a little teeny channel, I definitely don't don't show up in feeds. So yeah, forgive me.
Man, I hope that gets cleared up soon. You've been sick for
A week.
yeah. I mean, the thing is, normally when I start to feel anything even slightly a little off, I told you what I do. I eat raw garlic and apple cider vinegar, and I always feel better the next day. It just absolutely works for me. But I didn't do it this time because the problem was when it started, it came on all of a sudden, and for the first few days, I couldn't even eat anything. So putting the thought of putting vinegar and garlic in my mouth, it wouldn't have stayed down. So I couldn't use it for this one. But it always works otherwise. I don't know how or why, but it does. And I didn't get to do it this time, and this has lingered for a week.
Yeah, well, garlic boosts your. Excuse me, I'm trying to suck on a piece of ice, trying to calm my throat down. Garlic boosts your immune system. So,
Well, I can't breathe in the morning very good until I drink a cup of coffee, and I don't know if that's probably an addiction too, the caffeine.
I
But
haven't been
I
able to
don't drink.
breathe in a week at least at all. I mean, I have sinus issues to begin with, but then this cold or flu, whatever this is, it's got me. I mean, I wake up all night long because I can't breathe. My nose is so stopped up and my ears hurting, but I'll be all right.
Yeah, I've had a lot of sinus problems my whole life too. So,
Another hard day at work tomorrow. I'll be good.
but hey, can I ask you? I'm sure you said it probably. What you do for what's your job or?
I clean toilets and other stuff.
Well, that's what the lady that stays with me does. She works at a big healthcare facility doing that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I've never, I can, man, and this really will be the last thing I say. Nothing boils my blood more than, because it used to happen to me. My wife she was making $32 an hour back in 1995, which that seems like a lot now to me, but imagine 95, how much it
Yeah.
seemed like. But I would meet her coworkers because they all worked at the car companies up there, and then you had to know somebody. And I was a cook at a restaurant, which I made $10 an hour, and I thought, hey, I was proud of that. I worked hard. I took care of my children. I went to work every day. So, but I would meet these people when she would have bowling things and just work get-togethers, and they would say, "Hey, oh, you're her husband. Oh, good to meet you." And shake my hand. And what do you do? And I'd be like, "I cook at a restaurant." They would just look instantly. Their eyes would just drop, and their hand would relax, and they just kind of just shun right away from me. And at one point, she even came to me and said, "Next time I bring you to a work thing, can you just not tell people that you cook in a restaurant?" I was like, "Why? I work hard." "Well, yeah, you work hard. You're a good dad, but it's just, you got to realize these people make tons of money, and they don't respect that. They think that you're just some kind of
Wow.
bum, and it embarrasses me, and it really bothered me, and it still does. I've never done that to nobody.
Right.
I don't care if you're 50. If you work at McDonald's and you're trying and doing what you can do, I give you all the respect in the world. I've never turned my nose up to nobody who
Right.
tries. Yeah, but that was horrible, and that was one of the beginning issues that towards the end of all that, I think. And basically that was the issue, was that you just happy where you're at. You're not going back to school. You're not trying to do something better. And I want somebody that wants more. I want things and nice things and be able to go places. And it's hard when it's just me and you're just basically scraping by and you're happy with that. And that was
Right.
basically with the end of it. So yeah, I have a personal reason to not dislike people that look down at somebody. But if you were a janitor or if you work at a restaurant, I don't care what you do. If
I
you're
mean,
trying to
I
do the
do
best
other
you can
things
do.
there too, but I pick the worst of the jobs to say that's what I do. That's the worst of what I do.
Well, my dad was right about one thing. When I was 17, between 17 all the way up into my 20s, he was like, "What? He never." He used to tell me, because I used to do brick and block, and I did
I used to
roofing,
be a
and I
brick
did.
mason. I was a brick mason for 22 years.
Well, I was only an apprentice, and that's as far as I got. But I did I was like, "Hey, I'm big and strong, and labor is fine with me." And even up until 40, I was working at Anheuser Busch, just straight slamming heavy
Yeah, see,
things
that's
all
how
day,
I
and I
used
got
to
as big
be.
as the Incredible Hulk. I was so strong, and they're like, "Yeah, but one day you're not going to be able to do this hard labor. It's going to
Yeah,
break you down."
yeah,
And it finally did.
yeah. It does break you down.
Yeah, I got gigantic hands, but they're not as strong as they were. I used to pick up a massive amounts of weight. I would go into bars and I would arm wrestle guys twice as big as me and beat
Hey,
them, and
even
I
when
was
I
just
was a
so strong.
bartender, I used to win money by lifting the pool tables. Because guys would tell me I couldn't lift the table. I'm
Oh
like,
man,
all right. I'm like, all right, put 50 on there. I said, now, how long do I have to hold it for you to give me 100? And they say like 5 minutes. I said, okay, how long do I have to hold it for you to give me 200? And they say 10 minutes. I said, okay, how long do I have to hold it to get $500? And they say 30 minutes. I
man,
said,
I don't know
okay,
if I could do that now.
put your money up there. And I'd pick the pool table up and hold it.
Did you beat up a lot of boys when you were growing up too?
Um, I won't say I beat up a lot of boys, but yeah, I got in a couple of fights.
Well, I got beat up by a lot of little girls. I'm talking about really young. Girls beat me up all the time. Well, I'm talking like 4, 5, 6, 7. I think girls are tougher than guys at that age until guys start to actually get bigger. But yeah, I was picked on a little bit, and then I was one summer. I think it was 8th grade to the 9th grade. I didn't even know. I just went back to school, and all of a sudden, everyone in school was like, "What the heck?" And I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "Man, you grew a foot and a half and gained 50 pounds in 3 months." I'm like, "I did?" And they're like, "Yeah, yeah." And then, yeah, suddenly I realized I'm 6'6" and 250 pounds. I didn't even realize it. I just went from a skinny little kid that was getting beat up every day to this big guy. I didn't notice it. So anyway, now my grip is not what it used to be, and if I work too hard, my fingers lock up and stuff. I guess that's just age, but anyway, I'm not complaining. I'm happy. Getting old it doesn't bother me whatsoever. People go, "You wish you were 30 again?" I go, "No, I like exactly where I'm at." Do you want to, I like it when someone says I only look 40 or 35. I go, "Thank you, but I don't want to be 20 again. I would never want to be 20 again. I like exactly where I'm at." And people even are laughing. The last year, they said your face hair is starting to turn gray. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. I still got a head full of dark hair, and that's fine with me. I could be bald, and if I was, I wouldn't care either.
Right.
So yeah, I'm happy with. Well, I wish I was a little healthier, but that's probably up to me. So.
Well,
Anyway, I'm actually going to go. Good night, guys. I'm going to get in the chat, though. I'm going to get back in the chat.
You have the
or
power.
whatever you call it.
You have the power in Jesus' name to heal your body too.
Oh, I know that, and I'm just starting to work on that. And believe me, I want to get. I'll get going again, but I'll tell you another time.
Okay.
Something that's actually pretty to talk about anyway. So maybe I'll type it in one night. You were talking about sinuses earlier. I had just one side of my sinuses that I thought, why is it always clogged up? Finally had a doctor tell me that I had cysts growing in that side of my nose. That's why it's always feels stopped up. But they're probably not cancerous, and most likely if they get too bad, we can get rid of them. And I started going, wow, I just thought it was permanently clogged up.
Dude,
but in the last...
I had
go ahead.
I had sinus infections so bad, and I didn't know this. I went in. I was getting the initial MRI for my brain tumor, and I had mastoiditis, and I had polyps and cysts in all my sinus canals. You have 4 sinus canals, and I had polyps.
Yeah, well, that's what I had, polyps.
Right, but I had mastoiditis, and that's where you have a sinus infection that goes untreated. A bad one, and it eats away at the mastoid bone, which is right behind your ear. If you feel that bone in your skull that's right behind your ear, that's the mastoid
Yeah, I know
bone.
about that.
So yeah, I had sinus infection so bad it started eating away at the bone. So I totally get that, and I had all the cysts and polyps and everything.
Well, I've had these obviously for about 20 years, and then in the last month that I've really thought about them, and I've done what you said. I've prayed on them every night that they just go away, and it's just after 20 years they're starting to go away, and I have no idea why they're going away.
Well, my brain tumor.
Absolutely no idea.
You haven't heard my story about my brain tumor yet. But,
oh yeah, I would be interested to hear that because, well, I don't want to say it that way. That's what my mother died of at 59 years old. She just one day woke up and went to the hospital. You got it, and a week later surgery, and then a week after that dead.
Yeah.
So she had something called neoblastoma.
Yeah.
If you know what that is.
I do.
They took it out. It was the size of a grapefruit, and they said she'll wake up and have like 6 months of normal life, but it's going to come right back and kill her. But she never woke up. So, but here was a miracle. I'll tell you this miracle, and I actually will leave. This will do this all the time. I came down from Detroit, and then she was in the coma, and she had been in it for 4 days. No one knew why she hadn't woke up. Brain surgeon said she should be up, but she's not waking up. She was just like twisting her hands, but they said, we've been trying for 4 days. The whole family, they've all been talking in her ear. We're here, we're here, we're here. She ain't waking up. She's just moving around with her shaved head. It was horrible, and I cried and cried. I came in the room, and and everyone left me, and it was just me and her, and I went right up to her and said, I'm here. I made it from Detroit. I'm sorry I'm late. And she was, no, nothing. And then out of the blue, her eyes opened completely up. And she said, I know you're here, honey. I love you. And she closed her eyes right back. And back in her coma, I told everybody, and they did not believe me. And I swear
I
it's
had
true.
the same exact experience with someone, and it was someone that would never say "I love you," right? And
Well, my mom loved me. I was her baby, and everyone hated me and said, you're her favorite, blah, blah, blah. And finally, now they do believe it. They said, she probably did do that for you.
so this person
But go
never,
ahead.
this person never said that.
Yeah,
And
tell me yours.
so I was there at the hospital every day, and they were in and out of a coma, and um, he woke up, and he was turned the other way, and he was hooked up to all these machines, and he couldn't see me. And he said, "Are you here?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm here." He says, "I know you are, honey. You're always there for me." And
Oh, that's so
and he
nice.
actually said, "I love you," and it was yeah, it was unbelievable. But he
I'm getting
waited.
chills when you said that. I got these chills running down my body because
Yeah.
even the doctor didn't believe me. He was like, I don't think that could have happened. But then my sisters finally said, well, yeah, he was Mama's favorite, and he always got everything, and we had blah, blah, all that. But they finally, now they do believe me. They were like, yeah, I believe that she would have done that. Doctor said it was impossible, but it happened.
Right.
So,
And then he waited. He had a message to give to his grandson. So he literally waited, and I kept telling Jeffrey he's waiting to talk to you. Because Jeffrey was only 18, and he had alcoholism ran in their family, and he was worried about Jeffrey's drinking, and that was the message he wanted to give to Jeffrey about drinking, right? And so once he gave that message, that was it. He literally
yeah, I
held
mean,
on until he could see Jeffrey, and then once he gave him that message, that was it.
and I don't think we're special with stories like this, but I mean, you hear them,
No,
and
right.
mine is special to me, and yours is special to you, and everybody else that has them. But how can people that have no spiritualism at all just think, well, you live, and do all live it
Right.
up, and because it's short, and that's the end of it. How do they not see these kind of things and think that
Right.
that doesn't mean that there's something way more to all this?
Right. And then he said one of the times he came out of the coma, he's like, I can't get across the street by myself. And I said, well, that's what Jesus is for, to help you get across the street. And he says, you're right. And he got this peace and this smile.
That's amazing. Every time I hear one of those, it amazes me. But yeah, you saying it like that, and me having a personal experience where I can totally relate, it still gives me chills to this day. I mean, that's a miracle. Miracles happen every day around
Yes,
everybody, and they
yes.
just don't see them. But
Right, right. And
yeah, I'm called all kinds of names
more
when they
miracles
go.
could happen if people actually, did what Jesus told us we could do.
Exactly. People don't understand how powerful they are. And it's not that we're magicians. We just have somebody that created everything that we see and every beautiful. Like me, I stare at I bird watch and I'm amazed at I'm amazed at what a hummingbird can just
Yeah.
hover in midair. And other people go, "Who gives a crap, man? Why? It's just nothing to people." And I'm amazed by every flower and every blade of grass and every blue
I
sky. And
know, me too. And they're amazed by how their Gucci purse was stitched together.
Well, I can't say I never had a little materialistic nature to me. There was times when I wanted a few things, but compared to most, I look back and go, how bad was I? And I know there's putting degrees on what how bad you were is stupid, but I think back and go, well, what did I really ever obsess over? I never really cared about a nice car. I didn't need to have a fancy house. I didn't. Clothes were, minimal. In high school, of course, you have to blend in. But no, my hobbies, even my obsessive type ones, when I think back on them, were I was obsessive about having fish tanks because I thought fish were beautiful. I kept bees. I thought they were amazing. I bred Doberman pinchers because I loved them and I trained them and I sold them to people really cheap, and they always were happy. So I look back and go, well, God, my biggest obsessions and I guess materialistic ways and worldly ways were all animals, and amazed at this who made them and how wonderful they were. Not that I'm not saying I wasn't being materialistic, because I was spending lots of money on fish and coral reef tanks, and I had like 100 different things going at once. I had a pigeon coop. I raised pigeons, and I had beehives, and I had lizards and snakes and dogs and cats and birds. And my wife at one time said, "This is just getting out of hand," and it was out of hand. But compared to people that want the newest car and the next, like you said, purses and jewelry, it never meant anything to me. And I'm not saying I'm any better, because I was of the world. Believe me, I did everything, just like everybody else. I wanted to be popular in high school, and I wasn't. And I wanted to be like this person. But no, I never aspired to be famous. I never thought it'd be cool to be rich. I never. So yeah, I was of the world, and probably still am to some degree. But no, right now all I want to do is just barely get by, and that's what I've been criticized for my whole life, is that you settle for just getting by. You're no good. Well, I think I'm not bad. So anyway, I'm actually gonna get off now. Good night, guys. Thank you for listening to my long-winded night on here, and I'm gonna jump back in if it goes any longer for a few minutes, and I'll probably try to get some sleep. But thank you, Judy, and thank whoever else is in the room. Bless all y'all.
God bless you.
Okay, good night. I'm gonna get back in though if you stay in for a minute or two.
Come on in.
I think I disconnected it, so I gotta get back in. Good night, guys.
They'll holler at you when you get in there. Wow, Dare. Wow. Was he sick? He wasn't? How old was he? Wow. Do they know what? Do they think he had a heart attack, or any idea? Uh, Most importantly, was he a Christian? Okay, good, good. Glad to know he was a Christian. So we know he's at peace right now. God just wanted another soldier on that side before the great battle starts. That is shocking, though. Oh, yeah, that will be hard on her. Well, there was a couple of people that had NDEs and came back to life, and they said that their people that had already passed on actually were acting as their intercessors and, talking back and forth with Jesus about them and their life here on earth. So sometimes it's good to know that you have that person there as your intercessor. I mean, it's hard to pull a positive out of losing someone, although we know that they're better off now. But it's our, it's us that's left to miss them until we see them again. Well, that's good. I know you'll be a positive influence on her. Yeah, I'm tired too. But, um, this is that long, hard weekend at work. Memorial Day weekend. Yay. And they left me tonight. I thought I was getting out of there at 9. I didn't get out of there till after 10:30. Oh, thank you, Suzanne. Well, does he live in your town there? Or did he live in your town? Yeah, Suzanne, that's kind of why I left it on. Some people like to listen to it and fall asleep. Oh, okay, dear. Well, I agree with part of that, Patrick, but I wouldn't be sad when they're born because they've got to be born to be able to return to God. So they got to be born first so that they can go to sleep. So it's a rejoice, rejoice. Dare's younger. Right, Bucky? Right, born before born again. No doubt that was a shock to you, though. When did you find out? This morning, or did you find out last night? You think he came here and your battery went from 15% to 0 in a second? Yeah, it could be. He could have been passing through. Yeah, the energy. Right. I remember when that happened. Yeah. Oh, yeah, no doubt it is. Bruce, what was the news that blew you away? Is it about the asteroid with the moon that we're going to see tomorrow? The asteroid with its own moon? Is everybody local, or do they have to, or do they have to travel in from out of town? Oh yeah, we can feel it. It's everywhere. The the signs are everywhere. Yes, true, Suzanne. Yeah. Well, we know he's okay right now, and he passed through to let you know he was passing on, and he's gonna be on that other side with his shiny sword, coming with the Lord's army. That's right. We are all God's children. We are all one big family. Wow. Hey, Lulu. I need to cut this AC off. Gracious. Ah. No, it ain't breaking up yet. It's been going a week now. Every time I think it might start be getting better, it just gets worse. But I know running that AC doesn't help me either. And I had to start doing that last week. It's a real old AC unit, and it probably isn't healthy air either. Yeah, I might get some rest next week. Well, we got a rough weekend at work. Oh. No rest for the weary this week. Actually, I think if I was sitting on a boat, like somewhere in St. Thomas, looking up at the stars with my fishing rod over the side, I probably wouldn't even be sick. Yeah, the AC always bothers me, but it gets so hot up in here. You know, heat rises, and it definitely gets hot up in here. Lemon water with ginger. You know, I was looking at some chicken noodle soup today, and I was gonna get some, and actually forgot to get the chicken noodle soup and my vitamins when I was there. Because my sister had called and I was on the phone with her and I was, you know, trying to grab some stuff right quick and go to work. And so I ended up at the red light. I'm like, oh man, I forgot the most important thing I went in there for. Yes, that's Lulu. Wheel is Lulu. Lulu from Australia. So John is still feeling under the weather. And I know by the time I actually get some, I probably won't be sick anymore. But anyway, I know I need to get some garlic. I actually love garlic. And I haven't eaten it in a while. But I used to do a couple of teaspoons of garlic a day. He probably will. I like lemon too. I don't even like fish, right? So I eat fish so I can squeeze lemon juice all over it, like extra, extra lemon juice. And I love spinach with lemon juice. And when I drank, I actually started drinking tequila just so I could do the lemon and the salt. That was crazy because I do not like the taste of tequila at all. But I was like, I love salt and lemon. So I give me like 4 wedges of lemon to do 1 shot of tequila. Because I would sip the shot glass. We love you, Patrick. God bless you. We always appreciate you being here and putting in your 10 cents worth. Inflation, you know, can't say 2 cents no more. Did daughter leave us? I haven't seen her type in a minute. So Daughter of the Most High changed her name to Tamara 777. I always have to look when people change their name. I'm like, wait a minute, that person's in blue. So it's somebody I know. Yeah, you put in $5 worth. You're funny, Glenn. I pet goat. Good night, Patrick. Hope you sleep well and wake up feeling awesome tomorrow with the glory of God's love surrounding you and encompassing you and protecting you and energizing your spirit. I wish that for everybody, obviously. Yep, spread the love. So, yeah, this meteor or asteroid with its own moon tomorrow is going to be very interesting to see. An asteroid with a moon. Alrighty then. Just like Earthshine and what's some of the new terms they have come up with lately to try to explain away what we're seeing, explain away God. Yeah, Spencer wasn't here, but I didn't start the show until late. I talked to John twice today. He's not feeling well. Spencer was here last night, but he didn't stay late. And tonight I didn't get home from work till 11:30, so John said he listened in a little bit last night but didn't want to chat because he wasn't feeling well, so we have to pray that God engulfs John in his love and his healing powers. He's just feeling real tired, and he was having an earache, which sounded like a sinus infection to me, or he had fluid on his ear, which I get that every time I get a sinus infection. And my ear was killing me yesterday or the day before. I was getting that stabbing pain in my ear. Uh, 7:04 p.m. or a.m. Oh, I bet you we won't even need a scope. But yeah, Glenn, it'd be nice if you could get out there with your telescope and try to catch it. But I bet you it's going to be something we can see with our eyes, unless it's coming right by the sun, because that'll be right before sunset. Yes, Funky, that's what I was trying to tell John today. Yeah, everybody's more tired. It hit me last week. It was crazy. I was like, oh my gosh. I felt like I was beat up and had just got through building 12 block factories, cinder block factories. And I was like, what in the world? But that was the day uh, that solar flare, God bless me, that that was a day that solar flare was supposed to be coming at us. And so I think since that day, I've been, I do work a lot and I don't get much sleep. So I guess that could have something to do with being tired. And I am old. And I am sick. But this was, I couldn't shake the tiredness. Thank you, ladies. I sneezed so hard that time it made my throat hurt again. I almost lost my voice on that one. Gracious. Yeah, the sneezing's unusual for me, so I don't know what this is I'm trying to fight. Because even with a cold, the sneezing usually only happens the first day and then it goes away, but it's been going on a week now. Forgive me as I chew on this ice. So I can try to, um, right, coffee and vitamins ain't helping, yeah. Yeah, a lot of people are complaining about this tired, tired, tired. I mean, we're getting frequencies and radiation and all kinds of energy bombarding the earth. And, I mean, the moon affects your body like it affects the oceans. So can you imagine all these other things coming in our atmosphere now? Like the meteors I saw tonight at work? All that stuff is energy and it's gotta affect us. Yeah, like I said, I think when Jesus comes back, that's a lot of energy coming in. And the angels, his force, his army, that's going to be a lot of energy. And then all the evil entities rising up. Because remember when God told Moses that Moses wanted to see God's face, and God told him he couldn't see him and live. Well, I take that as God being that much energy that to the human body, I mean, our soul could handle it, but the human vessel that we're in couldn't handle it. And I think as Jesus gets closer, as we get closer to that time and all that energy's coming at us, I think it's as it's affecting the earth, it's affecting us as well. Oh, I know they are, Suzanne. Um, Copper bracelet doesn't really help me because I'm RHO negative blood, so I have high copper content already in my blood. we know it's gonna get pretty rough, because Scripture says men's hearts will fail them for what they see coming. So can you imagine? And I honestly think that back in the 50s, and especially in the 80s, when the government saw, no, you're right, Punky, it doesn't. Well, I don't know. I don't replace it. I had trouble with heavy metal anyway, and I've been exposed to too much heavy metal. So I'm usually iron deficient, but I got too many other metals in me. You know, even they say even carrying your keys in your hand, or wearing a lot of metal jewelry. I turn gold. I tarnish gold within 30 minutes of wearing it. I remember the first time I bought this 18 karat gold or 24 karat gold necklace. I can't remember, and it was more than 10 karat. I know that, and because I didn't want 10 karat. Anyway, I wore it for like an hour after I left the store, and it started tarnishing. And I went back in there fussing that they sold me some fake gold, and they're like, it's not fake. And then they made them do all the tests and stuff. And then you know, after that, I bought myself a couple of diamonds, and they were turning on my skin too. And then I had went through some watches, and a watch would never work. And so then I'm like, well, I'll buy a really good watch. So I bought a really expensive Seiko, and I took it back to the jeweler, and I'm like, it just stopped working. You know, you sold me a bad watch. And then one of the ladies, after the third Seiko at the jeweler's, she's like, I'm gonna ask you a question that sounds strange, but do you happen to be RHO negative? I'm like, yeah, I am, but why would you ask me that? She said, because everybody I know with RHO negative blood has issues where, you know, with watches working. So, yeah, but the copper content is natural with RHO negative. That's why we change TV channels and radio stations when we walk by, or blow out light bulbs and make the register stop working when we're at the store and in a hurry. Stuff like that. Because we're conductors. Copper is a conductor of electricity, so yeah, RHO negative blood is definitely unique. Oh yeah, I had it up on the whiteboard last night. I had drawn pictures of the blood cells, and so the A positive is at the top, and it's got the crosses and the O's, which represents positive blood. All has the RH factor, which is from the rhesus monkey, or the rhesus monkey has it in common. So positive blood has the O's for the RH factor. That's just what I picked for the drawings. And then A negative has the plus signs, but not the little O things that represent the RH negative. And then B positive has the squiggly lines and the little O's. The squiggly lines represent the B antigen, and the little O things represent the RH protein. And then B negative just has the squigglies that represent the B antigen, but don't have the little O things to represent the RH protein. Then you got AB positive, which has the little O things that represent the RH factor. You got the little squigglies that represent the B factor, and then yeah, so you got the B antigen, the RH protein, and the A antigen. And then, so if you have AB negative, then it would be the B antigen and the A antigen and minus the little O looking thing, which I guess I shouldn't use the O, but that's just the circle. We'll call it the circle. And then you have O positive, which has the little circles for the RH factor. They have no other antigens, but they have the RH factor. Then you have this down here by itself, the O negative. Has absolutely no antigens at all. It's just a clear cell with nothing else on it. It has no nothing. And that's RHO negative blood, which is, yeah, we can donate. We're the universal donor, but we can only take O negative blood. Right, we can't take A negative, B negative, nothing. It has to be O negative. And if our fetus, if the baby we're carrying is a positive baby and not O negative, then our body tries to destroy it. It recognizes that it's foreign and tries to destroy it. That's why RHO negative women typically have a lot of miscarriages if they don't get the shot of Rogaine to protect them, because their body will build antibodies and try to destroy the foreign thing as it considers a positive fetus. So it's odd. There's discrepancies on, unfortunately. Some say that we're from the Satan's bloodline, and that we were the hybrid. And then some say we're from the Holy Grail bloodline, that it was the initial blood that wasn't, when God first made humans, and it wasn't meant to, yeah, it's different. So, anyway. So, when people talk about cloning and all these other things, I'm like, or any of the things that scientists try to explain, I'm like, they still can't explain our blood. So until they can do that, I'm not real impressed with a lot of the stuff they come up with. Yeah, and we're only 7% of the population O negative is. We're not the rarest, but I think OB negative is the rarest or something. Right, RHO negative can't be cloned. Right, Suzanne, I think so too. I mean, it first bothered me at first because I'm like, what if I'm of that bloodline, Satan's bloodline, and then, which I definitely don't feel that way now, but I did worry about it for a moment, and it probably does have to do with the way God initially had planned things. And then, Satan interacting, the fallen angels interacting with the women and, creating I guess I'd be more worried, like, if RHO negative people were all, like, 7 feet tall and, then I'd say, okay, well, maybe we were, because, we're almost, because of the giants that the fallen angels created when they bred with the human women. But none of us are giants, so. It is interesting, though, that our blood is completely void of any antigens, and that we destroy our own fetuses unless they're Rho negative, unless we have the shot of Rogam. The shot of Rogam keeps that from happening. Yeah, the Nephilim. I'm 5'3 3/4. Oh, really, Tamara? Yeah, me neither, Funky. Nor was my biological mother, who was also Rho negative. She was only 5'2". My sisters and brothers are all Rho negative, and none of us are tall. Our biological father was as well. So, right, Funky, that's what matters. Big typo. How long has what been around, Tamara? Well, they say the biggest population of O negative that they can find is the Basque people. Oh, the shot. Oh, okay, that was a typo. Okay. um, I don't know how long it's been around. I know that it was around when I was 15. Though I don't know how I could look it up and see when they invented the shot. Because they used to call them blue babies, and they usually died. And if they did, if you did end up carrying them full term, because when the blood mixes, giving birth, it gets really bad. But my daughter, I had the shot of Rogam, but they gave it to me too late. Well, so then you have to have it within 72 hours after. Every time you're pregnant and you're not pregnant, whether it's a miscarriage, an abortion, or a full-term baby or whatever, every time you have a child and then you're not pregnant anymore, you have to have the shot of Rogam within 72 hours. Because if not, your body builds antibodies. So, the nurse came in 5 days later and gave me the shot of Rogam, and I'm like, "What's that for?" And she's like, "Well, it might still be, do you some good." Well, I had forgot about that, and I was pregnant with my daughter, almost lost her in the 3rd month, and had complications, and anyway, she was born on Christmas Eve, and I'm thinking everything's cool. And Christmas Day, the doctor comes in and tells me my daughter's color is off, and at first I thought she was being racist, and I was like, this racist doctor is trying to tell me there's something wrong with my daughter because her color is off. I know her color is off. Anyway, she was jaundiced, and because her liver was shutting down, because I'm Rho negative and she was positive, and so they had to give her blood infusions, and then they had to put her under these special lights, and her belly Reuben kept going up and down, up and down, up and down, and then finally she was good to go. Now she's 37 years old. We love you, Funky. God bless you. It was good to see you again. Yeah, I need to sleep too. I got to get up and go to work. It was a pleasure. Funky, don't be a stranger. We miss seeing you. Yeah, yeah. Well, the Rogam shot probably would have worked just fine for me too, but they gave it to me uh, too late. My body had already built the antibodies from the miscarriage that I'd had before her. I had 4 miscarriages before her, and I almost lost her. But, and when they, realized my blood type, and then, gave me the little card to carry around, the little card that you keep in your wallet saying you're RHO negative. And anyway, um, it was too late because it was 5 days later instead of 72 hours. So that's why I had issues with her. Yeah, I feel you. I got home from work at 11:30. And I said, well, I'll open the chat for like an hour and, till I unwind. But I know I'm over here yawning and sneezing and everything, but we had some good callers last night, the night before, and the night before that. And Jeff P's been calling in and sharing good stuff with us. And John Hattina and Casey and Lulu and Spencer of the North and Dare to question, which was Daryl and Steph. And uh, we hope to see you more, Miss Funky. I know, right, Suzanne? Oh, we had Jane call in, and daughters called in, and we've had several people call in that used to be shy. Yeah, right, daughter, I need it. Well, I wish everyone beautiful, prophetic dreams, and may God encompass you all with His love and His peace beyond understanding, which I know He will, because you all love God and God loves you. And everyone, please say a special prayer for John, because I want him to feel well quickly. I love you guys. And I'll be on here sometime tomorrow night whenever I get home from work. I'm not sure what that is yet. What time that would be, rather. Yes, he has been. God bless you, Suzanne. And God bless you, daughter. And God bless you, Funky. And God bless everyone else that was here tonight and that will listen later. I know people that took biology are just laughing at the way I drew those blood cells, but it's kind of hard doing it with this mouse. Well, with not with the mouse, but you know, this little pad on the laptop. I need a mouse that I can plug in and control better. Yeah, prayers for Dare and his family. I just, I pray. I usually don't say specific prayers anymore. Well, I mean, I do, but I could go on. Oh my gosh, the list would be so long. But then I'm like, you know what, Lord? I'm just going to say, we love you and do your will, because I know your will is best. And so that's what I pray for everybody, that God, that we're able to do his will and he does his will in us. And then I know everybody will be okay. No matter what the journey is supposed to be for them. Because he's a loving God. And he did command us to rest. So I guess I'll get some rest. Right, Suzanne. That's what I did tonight at work after I saw the shooting star, or not shooting stars, excuse me, meteors. They were really pretty. 2 yellows and a red. And they were so peaceful and so beautiful. And so I just stopped and prayed and, thanked God and sang hallelujah and Jesus is coming back. Oh, yeah. That and, just raised my hands up. Just stood there. It was awesome. All right. So God bless y'all. And hopefully, God willing, we'll see each other later today. But everybody remember to try to look up for that asteroid with a moon. That's so funny. Why don't they just call it a planet they didn't know about with a moon? Because they can't do that. So they'll call it an asteroid with a moon and give us some funny explanation. Like Earthshine and bomb cyclones. Anyway, God bless y'all. Love you. Good night, sweetheart. Good night, sweetheart. It's time to go. Do 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 do. All right, y'all.